And there we go. We are finally live. Thank you to everybody who's been waiting patiently for us to get started tonight. Hopefully, you're going to hang out with us for the next, I don't know, 3, 4 ish hours. God willing, this game doesn't go to overtime because who needs that tonight between these two teams? If it's going to overtime, usually that means, at least for them, that it wasn't the greatest game. If we've learned anything from Steelers overtime games this season, but uh, hopefully the couldn't beat Detroit Bowl ends up being a little bit more entertaining than most Thursday night games that we've had this year. I know people tend to not love Thursday games for a good reason, but hey, we got to have a good one eventually. Joining me tonight, got my wonderful co-host from the Bootleg Football Podcast, EJ Snyder. Hopefully you guys are subscribed to Bootleg. Usually there's a pretty big crossover between audiences, but just in case you're not, you can head down to the description. I've got Bootleg link there. We just had an episode drop yesterday recapping week 13, looking ahead to week 14, and talking heavily about one of the teams in this game that just got beat by Detroit. But before we get into Q&A and all that kind of stuff, EJ, buddy, how you doing? And what are you drinking?
I'm great. Thanks for having me. Always a good time to hang out, watch Thursday Night Football with your buddy, drink beer. What am I drinking? I have something from Spokane, Washington. This is No Lie Brewing, and this is their Porch Glow Amber. Now, No Lie is short for Northern Lights. I've had their stuff before. Great brewery over in Spokane if you ever get a chance to stop by. Not that far from Wazoo. Not that people would think of Wazoo as a destination, but Spokane's got a great downtown, and No Lie makes great stuff. Great brew pub there, and their amber is pretty good, pretty drinkable for a Thursday night session. 5% alcohol by volume, only 10 IBUs for those of you that do not like bitter beer.
That's just water.
Well, it's not. It's nice thick brown water that's been mixed with barley and hops and all the good things I like. So, what are you drinking?
I just got coffee because I was experimenting with cocktail recipes all day to get ready for the Seahawks episode, and I've got a whole bunch of work to do on that tonight. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna slow down, drink some coffee for this, and not get completely hammered before I have to go back to work at roughly 9 o'clock tonight. Do you get Northern Lights in Seattle, by the way?
No, it has happened. It does not typically. Need to go a little bit farther north. I've seen them in central BC, up in Canada. A couple of times I've been up there. But they have occurred here. They do not typically. You got to go a little bit farther north.
Somebody asked how is the tortellini? The tortellini was phenomenal. I was doing that for a sponsor of mine, Mizan, because I wanted to make a one-pan pasta, and it came out pretty ridiculous, not going to lie. I used a recipe that I've been using off YouTube for like 2 or 3 years now from a guy named Not Another Cooking Show. If you're familiar with his channel, he does like the best penne alla vodka recipe ever. And I just converted it to tortellini, and holy shit, it was good. Dalvin Cook injured. He is injured, but he also is playing tonight through that shoulder injury. Apparently, he passed the range of motion tests, and I have to imagine that they shot him up with so much Toradol that he can't feel anything anyway. So, sounds like he's playing. If you're trying to decide on who to start for fantasy and you're thinking, should I start Madison? Traditionally, whenever Dalvin plays, Madison doesn't get a lot of touches. So, if you're going to play either of them, play Dalvin. Not sure you want to play Madison tonight. Thielen's out with, I think it wasn't a high ankle. I think it was a low ankle sprain, right? I can't quite remember. It's something with his ankle.
It's Justin Jefferson as wide receiver 1 sprain.
Yeah. Well, KJ Osborne is stepping in at wide receiver 2 tonight. He's a good player.
I liked KJ a lot. He popped up when I scouted him as a guy. He was not even first on his college team. He was about 3rd on his college depth chart.
That's what I'm saying. He's basically been Mo Sanu since he was 19.
Yeah, he made a bunch of plays in, either in the slot or they'd rotate him outside, rotate their other receiver into the slot, and he made a bunch of kick return plays for them as well. And I made notes like everybody's talking about the other receiver at Miami this year, but like this guy's got some juice, ended up making a roster. didn't play a lot under their rotation, and then this year has rotated in and started to produce. And can't say I'm terribly surprised. I'm pleased he's had the opportunity. It's he's one of those guys that there are a ton of guys that all they need is a chance in the NFL. Tons of talent. They just need a break. And KJ got his break and took advantage of it, or is taking advantage of it. Super cool to see.
What do you think of Conklin, by the way?
He's one of those guys that I think he makes more plays than you think he does. Right?
I still like Irv better as a talent, but Conklin has surprised me this year for sure.
He's filled in admirably. In that game, we both watched that game and rewatched that game against the Lions, and he's one of those guys, like I said, who's that? It's Conklin again. It's Conklin again. He made, more glue plays than big plays, isn't going to bust down the seam 20 or 30 yards, not really his game, but he's going to catch that like 12-yard out, take a hit on the sideline, first down. Like, he can do that, and he's done it. Again, another guy stepping up. I would say he's a solid player. I like you thought Irv was going to have a great season, was primed to have a great season. Disappointed when he got hurt, but again, it's next man up in the NFL. Conklin steps in, makes plays. Pleasant surprise for them. I don't think maybe they counted on him to make that many plays. Maybe they did. Maybe they knew.
To answer Gage's question, spread is 3.5. I actually I was just checking what I put in on BetSperts tonight. I got Pittsburgh at plus 3.5, so I'd taken Pitt to. If they lose, it kind of feels like just in typical Vikings and Steelers fashion, it's going to come down to a field goal. So anything over 3, I'm gonna take the underdog because I can't see this game coming down to a touchdown more than a field goal. So I took Pittsburgh to cover, if not outright win. If I was doing money line, I'd probably do Vikings, but this just doesn't feel like a more than a field goal win for Minnesota tonight, if that. And I took the over, which was like 45, I think, was like the over under. So
that's
yeah,
funny.
like 20, 27, 24 sounds about right to me.
Yeah, I would have taken Vikings on spread. I think they'd probably cover. It feels like they just had a crappy game against a crappy team. I mean, it was a solid game. It just didn't work out against a crappy team. They made plenty of mistakes, don't get me wrong. But they tend to be that flip-floppy team, which makes being a Vikings fan very difficult, right? They'll go out and lay an egg against a team like the Lions and then come back the next week, even potentially against a better team than the Steelers, and play really well, play up to the level of that team. And so you never really know what you're going to get. You get this, like, they come out and they look like world beaters, and the next week they go out, absolutely laying an egg, score, 16 points and get beat by 10. I feel like they're probably going to bounce back even with the injuries. And look, the Steelers have a lot of trouble, and their linebackers can't cover anything right now. You could throw a sheet over a Pittsburgh linebacker, and that's the best coverage you're going to get.
That's kind of why I asked about Conklin, because I was like, I just feel like no matter what, he's going to get a lot of yards tonight.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see who they're rotating in deeply in the sort of third or fourth wide receiver set, or if they do with Thielen out. I mean, obviously you got Jefferson and Osborne we talked about. When they bring that third true wide receiver in, not a tight end, are they going to slide Osborne into the slot? And if so, does he get matched up with a linebacker? If he does, forget it. Pittsburgh's got nothing for that.
No, they'd have to. Well, they don't like to drop Minka down, but
he could.
Unless they do that, it's not going to work out.
Yeah, if it's called to the other side, and you get Osborne against any of the Pittsburgh linebackers, forget about it. That's free yards, and Cousins can hit those throws and does hit those throws. So I don't know. I feel like the Vikings probably cover the over under. Oh man, I'm not. I don't think I want to go near that.
This just kind of feels like a defense somewhat optional kind of game. I don't know why.
I would agree.
Because the Steelers defense has not been the Steelers defense for most of this year.
No, they've had really good individual performances. Minka has had some really good ones. The cornerback play has been troubling. The defensive line play, again, when they're healthy, You got Hayward, you got Watt. I mean, even Isaiah Buggs made some plays, and I joked about Neil Coulon about that quite a bit. That he was saying, what's an Isaiah Buggs? But Buggs has had his flashes, but then he got hurt too. So when guys have been in, they've had really good play. The linebackers have underwhelmed in general. Like there was big hope for the linebackers to step up and be a force. And largely over the course of the season, they've been a disappointment. So you got Minka back there. You've got some spotty corner play. You've got some great defensive line play when people are healthy, but it just hasn't added up to, the defense is kind of one of those things like offensive line. It's as good as your weakest link. And they've had a lot of links this year. So it just has looked in sum total, not at all like a typical Pittsburgh defense.
It's been like TJ Watt and 10 other dudes versus the offense. That's what it's felt like some weeks. Autumn for $5. Thank you, Autumn, our resident Bengals fan. I feel like garbage, so maybe I'll get to laugh at the Steelers to improve my mood, God willing. Also, go Blue Jackets. Destroy
Brett's Ducks. Did you see the Ducks goal the other night?
Dude, that was insane.
That was so beautiful. And
goal of the year.
Yeah, and the follow-up with Bucci Cross in the post-game interview was classic. If you haven't watched
I didn't see that.
Oh, it's so good. He skates over and he's talking to the interview guy, and he says, "Hey, Bucci's got a question for you." And he hands him the headset, and before he even starts, he's like, "Hey, Bucci, I saw you in Tim Hortons this morning. I don't know if you saw me. I waved." Like, that's the start of their interview. Like, is there anything more hockey than "I saw you in Tim Hortons this morning"? No, hockey rules.
Most Canadian sentence ever spoken.
Yeah, the best.
Ooh.
So, yeah, game of the year. Goal of the year. Bucci asked him, "Have you ever tried that move before? Have you ever even tried it, like in practice?" And he was like,
I played hockey for 10 years, and I'm telling you, no, he didn't.
Well, he did. He said, "I tried it a couple times at the National Development Camp, and it never worked." Like, so I was really surprised when it actually worked, because he's like, "I tried it a couple times in camp, and it was just for fun, and we didn't even get close. Like, I couldn't get the lift up, and forget it."
Like that's the kind of thing you do like one time in a shoot around. You're like, "Oh fuck, I'm not physically capable of doing that," and then you never touch it again. And this dude busted it out in a game.
I know, and the greatest things Bucci said is that the greatest goal you've ever been involved with. He's a professional hockey player. A lot of goals on this guy's resume. He goes, "Oh yeah, 100%, no question." Like, instant answer. He's like, 100%, no question, greatest goal.
Oh my god.
Good times.
Conquer Muth full PPR. I need this dub.
Ooh.
That one's tough. Oh man.
Yeah, it's. I mean, if we're going who's a better player, it's not a question. If we go who has better production tonight in this game versus these two teams, I could see them leaning on Conklin a lot, like maybe more than Freiermuth, who they've leaned on quite a bit. So
with Thielen out, targets got to go somewhere. They're not all going to go to Osborne.
No. Well, they should all go to Jefferson, quite frankly. He's always open.
They should, but
yeah,
the Steelers, I feel like in any high leverage situation, they're going to call one double on Jefferson and say, "Go beat us with somebody else."
You would hope.
I would hope.
If they've been watching film, you would hope.
I kind of feel like Conklin, it might just come down to who gets a touchdown, which Freiermuth is a pretty good red zone weapon, but Freiermuth for ceiling, Conklin for floor. I don't know if that helps you at all, but God, that one's tough. That one's really tough. Like, if you need to swing for the fences because you're going up against like a crazy ass team this week, probably Muth. But if you feel good about everybody else and you just want something that is going to produce, Conklin. Is Zimmer getting fired? This kind of feels like one of those like mutual part ways type things.
Did you see Solak's article about it?
No. Usually everything he writes is great, but I haven't seen it.
Yeah, he hit a lot of the same points we did talking about Minnesota a couple of weeks ago, which was, you know what you're going to get. You're going to keep getting it. This is a known with this combination. And it's like you have a good coach, you have a good GM, and you have a good quarterback. And I use good in all those phrases because that's the word he used, and it's the words we used. Like, Cousins is average to better, depending on the week. Zimmer can coach his way through NFL games, typically. And, the GM has created a roster that should win more games. Like, that's the frustration of being a Vikings fan, is you're not without talent. There's talent all over that roster. So you have three goods at three key positions, quarterback, coach, and GM, but you keep getting what you're getting. You keep doing what you're doing and getting what you're getting. And the idea that for some reason, if there's a major change in that sort of triumvirate relationship, that it's going to produce terribly different results. The answer is, why would that happen?
Yeah.
And his eventual conclusion in the article is, it might just be time to blow it up, which is the same thing we said. It might just be time to make the change because it's not happening. Like, if you want to compete for second in the NFC North, which is fine for another year until, Chicago puts a team around Fields and, again, Detroit gets a quarterback and again has another draft to refill that roster. Maybe you get a free year if Aaron leaves, where you might win the NFC North. But if that's your total goal, you're in the wrong business, right? You got to be winning the division, getting into the playoffs, winning those games, and giving yourself a chance in late December and January. And it just doesn't feel like a team that's capable of doing that based on what they've showed us.
And I know they're really afraid of going backwards.
Oh, everybody's afraid of going backwards
because they're afraid of it, backfiring, like firing Caldwell backfired on Detroit, where, Detroit felt like, oh, we're going to do good, but we're never going to be great. And they're afraid of doing what happened with Detroit, is going from being passable to being awful for 5 years, something like that. They're afraid of going backwards, but you might need to go backwards. Like, let's be honest, like, because they're not going forwards. So you're just kind of stuck here with pick 22 every single year. And it's, are you content with that?
It seems like they are, because we talked about it and we framed it as the fear of that backslide, the fear of going into no man's land and not having any quarterback again, because you see what happens to teams without quarterbacks in this league. They really struggle. So the fear of dipping your toe back into that pool is greater than saying, well, we want to push hard and make big changes. So
do you think it's a smart move starting Osborne over Mooney? Yes. I would go Osborne. Like, I know Fields and Mooney have a good connection, but the Green Bay defense is crazy good.
And Jair's coming back.
And they were already crazy good. Osborne over Mooney. Like, I love Mooney. I love Fields. Terrible matchup. Terrible matchup.
Oh, like, and Robinson's coming back for the first time in a long time too. So really? You got to figure. Just announced today.
I didn't hear that.
Yeah, announced today he's going to play first time in I think 4 weeks, maybe 5. So again, that'll split out some of those. Like, Fields and Robinson do not have a good relationship, so it probably is not going to be more than 4 or 5 targets. I wish it was, but
it's
in reality, it's not. More of those targets are still going to go to Mooney, but you got, again, split of the target share, a better defense, one of their top defenders who's probably going to be on Mooney coming back. It's not super favorable, and Justin's ribs aren't healed. Like, I don't care what they said. He cracked his ribs 2 weeks ago. Ribs don't heal in 2 weeks. It's
cleared to play. Cleared to play doesn't mean healthy.
Did you see when it comes to ribs? Somebody took a screenshot of Dalton throwing the pick on the screen to the defensive lineman, and it says, I think it was right around here where Justin's ribs healed.
Was that JB?
It wasn't. Should have been. Man.
Jefferson reminds me of Michael Thomas production. But faster?
Yeah, I mean, because maybe in numbers overall.
Jefferson can do everything that Michael Thomas can do. I don't necessarily think that Michael Thomas can do everything Jefferson can do. And that is not a slight on Michael Thomas. He's a phenomenal player. But in terms of vertical separation, Jefferson has that extra element that I don't necessarily think Michael Thomas has. Like, Michael Thomas is a back shoulder warrior, but if you're playing low shoulder on Thomas, he doesn't necessarily have the extra gear to then get over the top and, catch that moon ball out in front and go. Whereas Jefferson, You can't play low shoulder on him. You have to play high shoulder, or else he will just keep on going away from you. So you basically have to give up, the back shoulder ball, and you live with that. Same problem that defenses had with Jordy back in the day, because Jordy could move, and everybody's like, "Oh, he's just good at back shoulders." And it's like, well, the reason why he gets back shoulders is because if you don't give him the back shoulder, he's going to get more on you. So I would say Jefferson is like everything that Michael Thomas is plus 10% extra, which is horrifying if you're an NFC North fan, because Michael Thomas is an all-pro caliber receiver.
Did you see what Devontae said about him? Devontae Adams on Twitter, I think it was today. It was either today or late yesterday. I said, if you're not watching him, start watching him. If you're watching him, watch him more.
Yeah. He's insane.
Yeah.
He's just, I'm like, we loved him. We had him as a first round pick, but even people that loved him,
even where we thought he was going to be, he's so good all over the field. Thomas can win very reliably in, I would say, 3/5 of the field. Jefferson can win very reliably in 4/5 to 5/5 of the field. He can win everywhere. Is Tevin Jenkins starting this week? He should.
I don't think he
believe
will,
he's
though.
going to. No, they're hedging. They're saying things like, we're not out of playoff contention yet, which is a far cry from anything. But then again, nobody ever accused the Chicago Brain Trust of being grounded in reality this year. I don't think he does. Is it possible? Very possible that he comes in as an injury replacement or gets maybe some package reps. I would hope so. He should be starting. There isn't any reason not to start him. He says he feels as good as he's felt since he was 18 years old. He said the surgery to clean up his back issue really has relieved pressure, and that he feels as good as he did as basically a senior in high school.
Was he playing through it all last year?
It was known. Some teams shied away from him. That's why he lasted. Some teams red flagged him and said, we're not dealing with it.
I thought it happened in training. I didn't know that it was during the season.
No, it was a known issue coming out, known to teams, not to us. Let's be clear. But apparently it had been bad and getting worse for a while. And they finally, pulled the trigger. They hoped they could get through it with treatment like everybody does. When that didn't work, they finally pulled the trigger. And he says now that he's, healed and rested, he feels great. We'll see how he feels. Anybody's going to say that, but we'll see how he feels when he gets back in game action. But there is no reason, if you're the Chicago Bears, that you do not get him starting reps this week to see what you have. You need to get him out there. He took no reps in training camp. You have no idea how he's going to act versus live competition. We both believe that he can be extremely good at the pro level. There's other people that we've thought that about that we were wrong about. You need, if you're Chicago, whoever's going to be left, not the Matt Nagy's or possibly the Ryan Paces. If you're whoever's going to be left in Chicago standing, you need to know whether he's a piece, because we pointed this out on Bears Over Beers last night. We recorded that, comes out tomorrow, is under contract for next year on the line is Cody Whitehair.
Yeah.
And Larry Borum.
That's it.
And Jenkins.
Daniels is free agent.
Daniels is up for free agency. Mustafa is not a thing. You cannot hope for a left tackle from the gods to drop and say, "Oh, I'll play for you again." Like that's a 1-year deal. So you have like possibly two pieces if Cody Whitehair is still a thing, because Cody's played really poorly at stretches through this year. Larry Borum looks to be ascending, especially in the run game, but is still a question mark in the pass protection game as a right tackle. Mustafa is not a thing, needs to be replaced. And you're looking at having basically 2 out of 5 pieces signed for next year on your offensive line. You need to know what you have in Tevin Jenkins, because you got a lot of work to do anyways. But the question is how much?
Yikes.
Yeah.
Fucking yikes.
It's not great.
Record game for $5.
Texans? Sorry.
Yeah, I'm reading ahead.
I'm reading ahead.
Will Bengals regret not taking Herbert number 1 overall? And do you think Burrow's lack of physical talent limits his ceiling? I don't think they regret it, because I think Burrow's a stone cold killer in his own right. They have different strengths and weaknesses, but I still think Burrow was worth number 1 overall. And he's still like, it's kind of like, God, I'm trying to remember So like Pat Mahomes and Deshaun Watson, like let's take the off the field stuff out of there. One of them went before the other, and they both had different strengths and weaknesses as players. Let's rewind back to like 2019 before all this shit blew up. And, Pat was coming off an MVP season and going to a Super Bowl, but Deshaun was also ascending. Like, I don't think either team would regret taking one over the other. They're both good. And I think it's a similar kind of thing here where, go back to the 2004 class. Here we go. First play from Kirk.
Oh, you're behind me by
And-
like 10 seconds.
Yeah, because I'm on a German server on a
Oh
VPN
yeah,
right
okay.
now.
No, it's a guess what we're gonna do all night play.
Throw speed outs against off
It
coverage.
wasn't even a speed, it was deep out. It was right at the sticks.
What was I saying? But yeah, they're both good players. I don't think they regret it.
2 for 2. So 2 plays, 2 Jefferson targets.
Yeah, I took the under on 7.5. And I said there's a possibility that he burns me like 8 minutes
for
into
reception?
this game. Yeah, I took under 7.5 receptions.
On Jefferson?
I felt like he was going to get double teamed a lot.
Are you high? I would have banged that over. That's insane. He's already got 2. We have 2 plays in the game. He's got 2.
Hey, it's for one series. You can make adjustments. Please make adjustments.
You're not going to adjust for Jefferson. The Steelers don't have anything for that. Uh-oh. And their run defense is not looking tremendous. This could get out of hand as a Vikings home game.
1st and 10 here. What is it? 22
Power
personnel. Oh, and you're running counter. Ooh, God.
Yeah, power pull. They had nothing. They had no answer for that.
Who got
to answer your question, Riker, no, the Bengals aren't going to regret Burrow. He's a great quarterback. They got their guy. That's all you want as a pro team. You got to get your guy. They got their guy. He can lead them where they need to go. They're not going to regret that. Is Herbert more talented? Yeah, we're on record as saying physically and quite frankly, mentally, he's on the level of Burrow, and that's impressive. Physically, nobody's on Herbert's level overall as a player.
Tuska got demolished there. Jesus.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
You weren't lying about these linebackers, man.
Well, this is only against the run. Wait till you see him against the pass. And they were supposed to be good against both. Like, they had super high hopes. But they are not. Oh man. Oh!
It's you being 10 seconds ahead is just killing me. I'm gonna have to refresh.
Okay, when this ball is at its apex, tell me if you think he's going to catch it.
All right, about to hit the snap. Here it is. 8-man pass, bro.
Oh! See? Same reaction 10 seconds later. I didn't think he was going to catch up to it. I didn't think he was going to catch up to it, and he got a good hand on that. He almost caught it.
That's why I'm saying, man, that extra gear, that vertical gear.
Justin Jefferson is one of the guys in the league right now, like Devontae Adams, I would just not bet against. Which is why when you said you took the under at 7.5, I was like, huh?
Hey,
that's his third target in 6 plays.
I just need him to not get 6 more catches for the next 47 minutes of game time.
Say that again out loud and listen to yourself.
Yeah, I know.
Oh,
all right, God. Too high on 3rd and 6 here. Empty. False start?
I am honor bound to bring up major leagues if you say too high. Too high. What is this too high?
You know what I'm saying, TV, for $2? Thank you, bud. What would you do to rebuild the Texans? I would petition the government to force the McNair family to sell the team and start there. Get rid of Jack Easterby. I don't. You're playing with fire here, bud. I swear to God, if you say Jefferson caught a third, I'm going to kill you.
Nope. But this is a drill from Cousins.
Oh, it's one of those nights for him?
It might be. Like, the signs are there.
It was a good ball. I'd go for it. What is it, 4th and 4?
4th and 3.
I'd go for it. Fuck it.
It's Zimmer.
I'd go for it.
I know you'd go for it. It's Zimmer. Let's just be honest. He's at home.
Oh, they're kicking. God damn it.
Oh, you should have.
They missed it. Ugh. And what is it? What yardage is this? 53. Oh, I definitely would have gone for it then. That's like prime go for it range. Yeah, hooked it. Jesus Christ.
Oh, we have another one from Andrew Hernandez.
But yeah, to answer your question, first thing I do is force a sale of the team because until the McNair family sells, nothing's going to change and nothing else matters.
Should we break into Metallica verses here?
I was blasting them on my flight back from Charlotte. My neighbor probably heard it through the earphones, but I didn't care. Autumn, thank you. Welcome back. Burrow helped fix the culture as a vocal leader. They needed somebody like Burrow. Somebody with just that swag. I mean, swag is probably the best word for it.
Yep.
You know, not that Herbert's a bad leader. Herbert's a great leader. He just does it in a different kind of way. And I feel like since he really needed that kind of in your face, like not quite Baker Mayfield attitude, but just
no, they needed somebody that
confidence.
Yeah, they needed somebody that expected to win every week. And Burrow absolutely expects that he will beat you every week. And he's right enough that that's warranted. Guys, you know, there are a lot of guys like that. I know people that say that about Rattler, right? And Rattler didn't back it up enough. So that starts to fall hollow. But Burrow like says, oh no, guys, we're going to roll them, and then goes out and rolls them. And that's most weeks. I mean, they're still figuring that out, but they're not going to regret the selection. And Autumn, you're right. He is a change as the sort of head and face of that organization to go, oh no, I don't really care what you say about our divisional game. Like that's our game. Like we're going to go win that game.
As long as Jamar Chase catches the fucking ball. Andrew Hernandez for $5. Brett, please make a film room on how bad the Raiders offense is so they can be rejuvenated. It's hard being a Raiders fan. I can only do film rooms on the Raiders in the first 8 weeks of the season.
That's the caveat. There's a clause in your contract.
It's because it's too depressing to do it in the last 8 weeks of the season. Like I don't know what it is every year, man. Every year. Like we were there week 1. Like the atmosphere is incredible.
The first half of the year, they always look. I mean, recently they always look like they're coming out great guns. All right, let's see what the ghost of Ben Roethlisberger can do.
Do you see he admitted this week, like, you know, my arm's falling apart, and there was the. I mean, you could basically call it a quasi press release about how this is his last year. Like even he's admitted, like, yeah, it fucking hurts. Like.
Yeah, last year if he was paying attention would have been a better ride to the sunset, but he just
how did he fit that ball in?
I know. He still has they talked about it in the pregame show that he still has his intelligence. He doesn't have any mobility. His arm is falling apart, but he can anticipate. You're not going to fool him with a coverage.
That was a great ball.
That's a very tough throw. That is a high degree of difficulty throw. Ooh, they're fighting too. Vikes defense better get physical. Or not, it's going to be a long night. It's always a long night against Pittsburgh if you're not physical.
They're still down like half their defensive line too.
Yeah,
they've had a lot of injuries.
The situation in Pittsburgh is not pretty, and we've talked about that on Bootleg. They're in a place they're not used to being in, where maintaining a decent record is, you know, Tomlin's doing it with spit and baling wire, and that's not going to hold up.
But he always does. Like that's the thing is like we talk so much shit about where the Steelers are as an organization and their future, and they're still above 500.
Oh, he's one of the best coaches going. He's one of the best coaches going.
Like how many coaches do you think would never have a losing season despite all of the problems that they've had to endure the last 5 years? Like it's insane.
Yeah, zero.
What Tomlin's done.
Yeah, tremendous coach. And the coolest guy in any room he walks into. I was 50 feet away from at the Senior Bowl, and I was like, I can't get any closer, man. He's too cool.
Jack for $5. As a sad Browns fan, give me some hope. It feels like the season is over unless they win out. Well, it probably is over unless they win out. But the good news is that you could argue that a significant chunk of their difficulties this year are more injury related than anything else. And as they get healthier, God willing, if they get healthier, they'll probably win some games in the back half of the season.
Oh, man. So stupid.
What, the little flat to Claypool?
Here it comes.
What's the flag for? Are they calling taunting?
Watch this. Watch the replay.
Oh, God damn it, Chase.
Rashad Breeland being a tough guy.
What are you doing?
Did they call offsetting? Or they just call it on Claypool? Oh, they called it on Claypool.
That's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying he's the second guy. He responded.
But Breeland was dumb and was the third guy. Oh, yeah. He shoved his finger in his face. Chase, be smarter. Be smarter. Tomlin's in his ear.
He should be.
Not again.
Yeah, don't do that. Fuck.
You can't.
Like, not that I have like a moral. It's not that I have a moral problem with it.
It's like is a bad idea.
Yeah, just don't hurt your team. Like, they're gonna call it. Not gonna lie, I love the dichotomy of you being 10 seconds ahead.
Okay,
because then I look for. Oh God.
And I kind of love the dichotomy of you being 10 seconds behind.
Still a good ball though. Like,
I know he actually got it there and he didn't catch it. Come on, Ray. You got your quarterback is getting dragged down and he actually gets the ball in your hands. You got to catch it. Like Ben had no business making that play.
There's no excuse for that.
Oh, sorry about being a sad Browns fan. Yeah, Baker's injury has been tough. Injuries around the rest. Oh, okay. Ben's looks focused. Gotta say. Both Barr and Kendricks are back for this game, which is huge for the Vikings.
Yeah. Dude, look at the depth that Kendrick got on that drop, though.
Kendrick was one of my favorites coming out because he was so versatile, and he was on the leading wave of like, hey, your linebacker needs to be able to play the pass and well, not just like in between the numbers. He needs to be able to play the pass elsewhere. And Kendricks was one of those guys that was really balanced.
Steelers going for it, which is the right decision that the Vikings didn't make.
And Ben's kind of mini dealing here. Like,
he hasn't thrown a bad ball yet.
No.
There we go. 4th and 4. Double.
Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, that's glacial. That's tough.
I didn't say he could run.
No, it's I give him all the credit in the world because yikes.
I might actually beat him in a race, and that's saying something because I'm slow as fuck. But yeah, they do need to win out, but also just be aware that a lot of their losses, in my opinion, are more because of injuries than anything else. Like, if this Browns team was fully healthy, I think you could argue they're actually leading the division right now.
Oh, God. Steelers got away with one, too. Play clock was at 0 on that last snap. And they just showed the replay.
They always give them like a second grace, though. It's rare they call.
Ask Justin Fields if he gets a second grace.
Yeah, but he's a rookie. You don't get anything.
I'm just saying. Okay, there
Andrew
you go.
For $5. Should the Seahawks fire Pete Carroll? Note, if you say no, I'll rant about how you're wrong until you relent. Well, I'm doing a film room episode on that topic. It's coming out, I think, on Tuesday. So
we have a lot of words already on tape about that on Bootleg. We've talked about it off and on for the last 2 or 3 weeks at length, and it's a complicated answer.
The short version is yes. Yes, they should. Not necessarily because he's a bad coach. It just might be, elbow problem for Ben. It's not that he's a bad coach. It's just, I think it's time to try something else. That's all. And also it might be time for Schneider to go as well. They've missed on too many drafts.
I'm glad that Matthias said he liked my reactions because I'm going to keep giving him. That was it's tough. I don't know. You ever?
Did he fumble?
He's so sort of. He did the Big Ben thing. He's done it 3 times that I've seen him this season. Just this season, he's done this 3 times where he kind of goes forward and goes, I can't hold on to it, and like his arm is moving forward, but
when you hurt your elbow, you lose grip strength, and I don't think he has the same grip strength he used to.
He's done it 3 times already this season, so that's the thing. I just called a timeout to avoid a delay a game.
Yeah.
No, I just sometimes worry about. I mean, I worry about Ben. I will just openly say it. Like, I worry about Ben later in his life because of the way he has played the game for so long. And when he was a young buck out of Miami, Ohio, he would just take hits on purpose. He would literally stand there and just be like, "Go ahead, hit me in the ribs." Bam, haha, he can't knock me over, and throw. That was his game. He shoved people off for years like that. But those are all hits at the NFL level. And now you see him get hit like that, which wasn't even necessarily the worst hit. It's still easy for me to say that 2 300-pound guys hitting you at the same time is not a big deal. But as NFL hits go, that was not terrible. But you look at it and you're like, oh God, they all add up at this point. And Ben's one of those guys that when you see him at award shows in probably not that long, 10 years, maybe 15, he's not going to be moving great. Bodies just don't get up to that much punishment. He's played so long.
Just remembering, the 2009 to 2012 era. And if you asked me out of that 2004 class at that time, Ben, Eli Rivers, who was going to play the longest, I absolutely would not have said Ben. He was getting blasted every single week. Yeah. Let's see, Luis for $5. Should the Ravens go O-line, receiver, or safety? Receivers are fine, but the other 2 positions have been injured and have expiring contracts. I probably lean O-line because the depth there has been atrocious and they have not been able to survive injuries, especially to Ronnie Stanley. Worst case scenario, getting a guy that could end up as a really good swing tackle or 6th offensive lineman for you, because that's a team that is not shy about putting 6 offensive linemen on the field. I would consider a quote unquote backup tackle to be a starter for them with how important it is. And also giving you somebody not named Villanueva if Ronnie Stanley, continues to have ankle problems. I would probably prioritize offensive line. Plus, there's good offensive tackle options in this class. You're going to get a good one. Safety, I haven't done enough work on this safety class to know, other than Hamilton, who to go after.
There's good safeties in the class if you need them. And it's fairly deep, but again, you had a great thread on Twitter over the last week about safety and their value, and how it sort of drops off and how value sustains more through other positions later in the draft. But my thing with receiver, if you're talking about the Ravens, not unless you move on from Greg Roman, right? Because you could give them.
I don't think they will.
I don't think they will either. Harbaugh is like Tomlin in a lot of ways, and he's had similar success to Tomlin because of it. I don't think that he'll move on, but the Ravens' run game, the Ravens' run fits are so good, and their pass stuff is so sloppy.
Yeah.
And Lamar makes stuff happen, but Nate Tice put out a thing this week that said it's amazing how many times they put 5-man protection up and go dodge and make a play. You're Lamar, dodge and make a play. We're sending a guy at you, basically, knowingly sending a guy at you. And it's frustrating. And they're just so sloppy on pass compared to run, because the run is so precise. Pass is so loose. So you could give Greg Roman, 2 more Rashad Bateman's, have him keep Hollywood Brown and Mark Andrews. And I still don't think he'd be maximizing that benefit.
I kind of want them to bring in Joe Brady as a pass game coordinator.
Wouldn't hate it.
I don't think that Brady will go there, because I think he wants a higher
I
job,
actually heard
quote unquote. But
Miami, OC at Miami, University of, not Dolphins.
that wouldn't surprise me either,
Not at all.
because Cristobal also needs somebody. Like Cristobal
Cristobal
can worry
will
about the
set your
offensive
lineup
line.
real well.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
everything beyond offensive line, he needs help with. What, the Boswell kick?
Yeah.
Do we have another miss? 2 misses in a row? Here we go. It's up, and it's also hooking left. Okay. So I took the over, and I feel like an idiot.
Well, no, you took the over, and because of that, everybody's missing kicks. Nice job, bud.
I swear to God, every week. Every week.
Like clockwork.
Let's see. Autumn for $2. Chance Tyler Linderbaum makes it to the Bengals. Well, it depends on where the Bengals are picking.
Yeah.
Because right now,
decent.
they could be anywhere between like 18 and everywhere above 18. Like,
Yeah,
ew.
no, but the chances are decent just because of the position he plays. Like centers do not start going off the board before 20. Right? So if they're at 20, 21, 22 even, which I don't think they will be, they'll probably be higher than that. Centers are not sexy first round picks. They are very safe first round picks in terms of their ability to stretch into a second contract. Their percentage of that is higher than almost any other position on the board. But they're not sexy first round picks, so they almost always last. Even the best centers will go in the last basically 10 picks of the first round. So, the Bengals are going to be somewhere around there, and the chances that he goes real early, like top 15, no, nobody's picking a center in the top 15, despite the fact that Linderbaum is a tremendous player. Nobody's picking him in the top 15. He's a center. They know he'll be there later. So, if the Bengals, especially if they make a run and they're picking late, he may still be there.
I mean, Creed Humphrey went in the second round, so anything's possible. And Creed's already one of the best centers in the league in like his first 10 starts. So it's possible. But until we know draft order, it's very hard to project how long some of these guys will last, because for all we know, there's going to be like 5 really center needy teams between like 20 and 28.
But they're still not going to take him high because their GM doesn't want it. Their GM doesn't want that smoke, right? They need something else. They need wide receiver. They need edge. They need quarterback, whatever, corner. Like, they will take every one of those positions before center. Like,
you remember how much shit the Cowboys got for taking Frederick?
Oh, yeah.
And then he ended up being one of their best picks of the last quarter century.
Yeah. I feel like we need to put up a tent in the end zone, and like Boswell and the Vikings kicker can go hang out and have a little moment.
Oh, man, that is a gorgeous stadium.
So
right,
we got our weekly version, except it was a little bit early.
Our weekly version. Oh, here we go. Ooh. Our weekly blowing up a screenplay.
Yeah, exactly. Except they got there early enough they didn't have to hit the receiver. They almost picked it. So
that's the thing, is like anytime you see an X or a Z receiver on short motion, the corner is like automatically thinking screen. Like if you're motioning it at a trot,
these days
they're thinking screen. I'm a Hutch guy for number 1. I could see it. It depends on who's picking number 1, but I could see the Lions taking Hutchinson first overall.
For sure. And he's a Dan Campbell type player.
What?
Watch this.
The
run
fuck?
fit.
There was nobody there.
Nope. No, you could have driven that evergreen container ship through that hole.
What? Did they catch him in a stunt? No. What the fuck was that?
That was we're going to leave a gap wide open, and the Vikings ran right at it. And wow.
I think that just
Watch
gave
the next
me
play.
like
Watch the next play.
AIDS. I'm like, okay, yeah. Steelers drafting linebackers every pick. My Lord.
Did you see the second play?
Yeah, much
Ah,
like the first one.
yeah, much like the first one. Different set, same result. Like, oh my God.
That's
Like
awful.
Steelers fans are drinking heavily at this point. Like,
I know Tree is streaming right now.
is he?
Um
Poor bastard.
and Grassi. I think they might be streaming together or they might be doing separate. I'm not
Are they
sure.
doing a dumpster
Uh
fire stream?
I don't know if it's dumpster fire or if it's individual streams. I'm sure they've got like fucking like 5 times the numbers I do, but
Oh well.
especially Tree streaming during a Steelers game, he's probably doing big numbers right now, as he should.
Yeah, for
Probably
sure.
losing his goddamn mind at this point.
Yeah, he's probably drinking heavily on stream at this point because boy, there's ways that the Steelers get beat, and this particular way is the way that no Steelers fan wants to get beat.
But my God, is it entertaining if you're a Tree fan? Jack for $5 on Brown's struggles. I feel like they have as much to do with coaching than just injuries. They fail
Don't
to
miss this.
adjust for schemes and can't protect Baker. Okay, there's the third catch for Jefferson. Shit. I don't necessarily think I would put it on Stefanski. And to be honest, Woods, like when I look at the Browns defense on tape, they've got good game plans. Like the Cardinals game, like that one specifically, you look at the box score and you think that the defense, like their game plan was bad, but like I watched every snap of that game, charted every snap of that game, and they had a good game plan, but they really got like fucked over by penalties and just there was like 3 mental mistakes that were good calls, but the players just didn't execute. Oh my God, they missed an extra point. Jesus fuck. Okay.
I'm telling you, we need a tent in the end zone, man. We need a come to Jesus moment where the two kickers get together and go, okay, I don't know, burn some sage, do something like try and
But
cast the demons out.
I don't know if I would put it on Woods because I do feel like he calls good games and his players just make really inexplicable mental mistakes. It's not like he's calling anything that's like too complex for players to understand. Like it's very basic quarters adjustments and they just mess him up. And I don't know what to attribute to that. But I don't necessarily think it's a coaching issue. I really do think it's a player's issue. Not a talent issue, but like a mental mistake issue. They have talent, but they always find a way to screw up, and I've never really understood how or why. Hopefully it gets better.
Hopefully it gets better. Oh man.
Jake Burstein for $5. Or Burst? Wait, Burst? I think it's Burstin. Correct me if I'm wrong. What would the situation be if Jordan Love was starting versus the Fields-led Bears with the teams as they stand now? Are the Packers screwed without Rodgers? Yes. Yes, they are. The Packers need to trade Jordan Love, extend Aaron Rodgers, and apologize profusely every single day for slighting him. Like I don't care what it takes. They cannot let Aaron Rodgers go for Jordan Love. And this is nothing against Jordan Love. They are not the same quarterback. It's not even close. Like let Aaron stay with Green Bay, retire when he wants to go off into the sunset. If you think you're going to be as lucky as the Patriots to go from Tom Brady and then be bad for a year and then have Mac Jones fall in your lap and all of a sudden you're fine again, that's a rare scenario. It's even more rare that what happened with Favre to Rodgers, where you just have the guy on your team for a few years and then you go from one to the other and you're fine. Like it's so unfathomably rare. You hold on to the good quarterback that you have while you still can, unless he has like a terrible injury or something like that, like the Peyton Manning situation. You have to let Jordan Love go via trade and keep Aaron. They cannot willingly get rid of Aaron Rodgers. That would be stupid. Do you disagree?
Do I disagree?
Yeah.
Well, morally, yeah.
Well, you're a Bears fan. You don't count.
Yeah. No, I mean, if I'm a Packers fan, no way I let Rodgers out of the building until he's like done with the NFL and promises never to come back. Like, like no, like retire for a year and go play for Denver. Like no, like play all the football you want to play in Green Bay because you are a Hall of Fame player. You're possibly the most talented quarterback to ever play the position. And I didn't say the greatest. That's Tom Brady, like by achievement more than anything. But Tom Brady said about Aaron Rodgers, oh no, Aaron's way more talented than I am. And, you know, if you are Green Bay and you've had a taste, you saw the Jordan Love experiment. It was not pretty. You know, might he grow into something okay? Might he grow into a Kirk Cousins? He might. Is that what you want when you have Aaron Rodgers in the building? So I'm with you. Do whatever you can. Now, if they don't, and he just happens to go to Denver and lights that offense on fire, like I'm cool with that. Like that'd be awesome. I'd love to see Denver get a boost like that. That'd be tremendous.
William posed an interesting question. Is Harrison Smith a lock for the Hall of Fame? It's borderline right now.
Do I get to answer that as a Bears fan or not?
So 5 straight Pro Bowls, 2015 to 2019. 2 All-Pros in that time period. He does have an all-decade. Fumble?
Yep. And the home team recovers.
Was that Harrison
Chase
that forced it?
Not having a night.
That might have been Harrison that forced it too.
Oh, I don't. If I'm Pittsburgh, I'm throwing the flag. I'm not sure his left knee wasn't down.
Let me see this. Knee down right. No. I think Harrison got it.
That's
right before
really
the knee
close.
went down.
And because it was called a fumble and a recovery for the Vikings, they're going to have to see clear evidence to overturn it. I don't think they have it.
I think he got it with that swipe. Like knee was like an inch off the ground. I think he got it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Harrison Smith, great player.
As evidenced by this play.
I hate him. Like he's a dirty, dirty player. And I don't like that part. It's not just because he's a Viking. Like he's a dirty player. And it's not just against the Bears. Like he has, very notable dirty hit against the Bears. But the Bears aren't the only ones. There's plenty of other fan bases that are like, oh yeah, you're right. Like he's dirty. And he's a great player on the field. Like all his achievements, you listed some of them off. Like demonstrably great football player. But I don't like him. Now, are there demonstrably great football players who are real jerks in the Hall of Fame? Oh, yeah. There are plenty of those. So, but is he a lock? I wouldn't call him a lock. Is he worthy of consideration? Should he be voted on? Yeah, absolutely. He should be voted on. But Hall of Fame's tough, and it's tough for safeties.
If you're an all-decade safety, though, good chance you're going to make it.
Well, better chance with awards, but we both know about awards. So, the worthiness, like, yeah, he's worthy, I think, to be voted on and considered and then, sorted however they sort him. Is he a lock? Lock's the word I'm sticking on. I don't think he's a lock. I think he's one of those guys that could hang around for a while until some of that sort of recency fades. And then people are like, hey, this guy had a really good, this guy had
like
really
the
good award record.
Yeah.
And, and we haven't put a safety in 3 years and like, yeah, Harrison's our guy, like 6 or 7 years later. Like I could see that happening with him. Lock, like first ballot, like, nah, he's not going to make that cut. He's not.
He's a lock for the Ring of Honor.
Yes. No doubt. Like
at minimum.
100%.
Ian for $2 bets that urinating tree is another meltdown tonight. Probably.
Already did.
Probably already did. Touchdown followed by fumble. Yeah, good chance.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate you betting $2 on us, Ian. That's you can bet on tree meltdowns on bad Pittsburgh games on us. I was gonna say time.
Pales in comparison to what he's gonna make tonight from people watching him meltdown.
Yeah, somebody said earlier that Tony had 1,000 and or Tommy Grossi had 1,000 and Tree had 3,000. So
yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, they're crushing. They're crushing. May we be at that level someday. Joe Brady
Pat
reunited with
McAfee
Burrow.
deal. I don't think Brady's going to Cincy. I think their staff is set. I don't think they're going to get rid of anybody. I think he's going to Miami, University of Miami. I think that was mentioned earlier is a pretty good fit. Okay, here's the super slow mo.
Yeah, somebody just said, as Bulldog Gamer said, that's the first time they've ever heard anybody call Harrison Smith dirty. Like, really? Wow.
Well, and here's the thing: EJ's a Bears fan. NFC North fans specifically that are not Vikings fans do not like Harrison Smith. The other 28 fan bases in the league mostly don't have a problem with him, but NFC North
who
fans
don't watch
see
his
him a
games
lot.
and go, yeah, he's a good player. They see his highlights and they're like, yeah, he's fine. What are you talking about? You're like, you see that guy twice a year. He's a dirty bastard.
Keep in mind, Bulldog's a Vikings fan, so he's taking exception to this.
That's fine. He can.
Don't mess with those Iowa Vikings fans, man. They'll come for you.
Well, I'm so far my biggest hit list is Texas, University of Texas.
Oh, everybody, yeah, Texas fans hate you.
Everybody thinks I hate Texas, which is ridiculous because I love a lot of Texas players. I just notably said something dumb about one of them.
Devin Duvernay.
Yeah, which has been proved true, by the way.
Well, you say dumb. I say accurate.
It was accurate and lazy. Like, the word choice was lazy. That was after the Senior Bowl where we met, and I came back and I had a pile worth of notes, and I felt really I felt bad. I felt guilty. I was like, I got all these notes and I haven't gotten them out. I need to get them out. And I woke up the next morning all jet lagged and the whole bit, and was like, I just got to force these out and get them out there. And I got them out, and holy God, that was terrible.
Don't mess with Texas Twitter.
Yeah, I know. Texas Twitter's rough. But the funny thing is, like, I like a lot of Texas players. Oh, what was that number again? 7.5?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it 4 now?
Yeah, no.
Can these corners not play
they can't.
7 yards off?
No, they cannot.
Can you just play press coverage, please?
Nope. The answer is no, these corners can't. You can stop right there. They can't.
Like, he's not even doing anything crazy. They're just giving him so much goddamn space.
Nah, they've been doing this all year.
Can you just fucking challenge a receiver for once? My God.
Is it that Zimmer's new hot girlfriend is a distraction? I have no idea. Who's he dating? I had no idea how to do
yeah. Zimmer's got game. I'll put it that way.
Okay, good for him.
The man has an eye for talent.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I don't know how that worked out for him, but Godspeed.
Oh my God.
As for is his scheme
in life that gives you space like the Steelers run fits.
As for is Zimmer's scheme figured out, I wouldn't say so. I just think they're so banged up that their execution has really been not great. They don't have the secondary talent overall that they used to. Their defensive line is extremely banged up. Their linebackers have been banged up.
Wow.
I think it's more of an injury issue.
The graphic that just came up, Steelers have 16 rushing yards. Vikes have 90.
And we're in the first quarter?
End of the first right now, yep.
Yeah.
If you fired Zimmer, okay, hang on. Chances that Devontae Adams ends up as a free agent this offseason. I don't think it's as far-fetched as some people think.
Aaron needs to leave. Aaron needs to leave for him to be a free agent. If Aaron stays, he stays.
Oh, for sure. Like that, I would say that's not even a question. And rightfully so. If Aaron leaves, there's been a lot of speculation that the same team would push for Devontae. And if that happens, God help whoever plays against him in that division, because having seen that on a firsthand basis for the last 5-6 years as that relationship has developed, it's not pretty. You won't win a lot of games. It's possible. They're not going to want to let Devontae Adams out of the building. That's for sure.
I mean, he's the best receiver in the league. You don't.
Yep.
You don't let the most talented quarterback in the league and the best receiver in the league go. They'll be asinine.
I mean, unless somebody blows them away, you know, if you're going to give me like 3 first-rounders for Devontae, which I think won't happen, but if you're going to do it, I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, Jordan Love throwing to Valdez Scantling sounds like a
Well, if you're going to get the
great,
first-rounders, you know, you go get Treylon Burks, or you do whatever you want in terms of wide receiver talent at the top of the first round, and you know, you hope you hit, and if you don't, you have 2 more chances the years after that. So,
random guy for $2. What do you think of the Broncos rookies so far? Had a great draft. Surtain's been fantastic. The kid they got, Baron Browning, Ohio State kid, he's a freak. I think he's going to continue to get better as he kind of carves out a role there. John Cooper has been a contributor off the edge, proving that he should not have been a 7th-round pick. He should have gone earlier than that. Their rookie class overall, Javonte, how can I not mention him? You know, Miners, yeah, they're at least 5 hits of varying degrees. If
so, we can give Peyton all the crap in the world for not taking a quarterback, but with the picks he did spend,
they're doing okay. They're doing okay.
great.
Still got to get a quarterback,
but maybe
they'll get lucky. Maybe
you can't fault the folks they got. Like, so when you're getting a solid contributor in the 7th round, and I don't care if it's a solid contributor on special teams, like your 7th rounder makes the team and is playing meaningful downs in any role, much less pass rush, which is typically a high round, you know, venture, you're crushing it. Plus the high rounders they took, which is the problem. Like Pace is gone, Ryan Pace in Chicago has gone middle round really well. Not so great at the very end, but like 3, 4, 5 is his bread and butter, but he hasn't done super well on high picks. Like Surtain is an absolute lock. Javonte Williams is the next star running back in the league. Miners is bulldozing people. Like that draft is solid, top to bottom. Great draft.
Usually it's Packers fans complaining that Barr is dirty. People complain that Anthony Barr is dirty?
Yeah, he had questionable stuff against the Packers, but
from the falling on Aaron and breaking the collarbone? I didn't think that was like intentional though.
Yeah, but anything, you know, you breathe wrong on any quarterback. I like breathe wrong on Justin Fields right now. I'm probably going to get upset because that's where all the hope lies.
Yeah, that's true. Although if Justin would get down a little bit earlier sometimes and stop taking those rib shots, I sure would appreciate it because some of those hits are on him. Nice. That's okay. Just right on cue. TJ not falling with his body weight on Kirk Cousins because he doesn't want a flag.
I do not know how he gets to those balls.
Somebody clip that.
Yeah, phrasing.
Oh my God, dirty. Right off the fingertips.
Watch the move at the top of the stem.
Stop playing like 10 yards off of him. He's just going to fucking kill you.
Please. Did you see the move at the top of the stem?
I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, don't give him space.
Uh-oh. Hope. Moment of silence. Kicking.
Blender.
Kicking. We have kicking occurring. Maybe. Whoa. Broken schneid.
So 1 out of 4 tonight.
Yeah, somebody made something.
Let's see. Chris for £5. Pounds? Yes, pounds. Or euro? No, euro.
No, that's pounds.
Is it pounds? Okay.
Yep.
They're both like an E, so I don't know. How high would you guys rank the Eagles' offensive line among other NFL O-lines? Is the unit in that elite category? Yes, it's in the elite category. Is it the best?
I think best is hard to say. It's tough to vote against like Cleveland's offensive line when it's healthy.
Dallas when they're healthy is really good.
Tampa's
really good.
So
I would say like
always a handful of teams. It's like a tier or a bubble, but are they elite? Like, yes, they're an elite offensive line. They're good.
Top 5, and you can take those top 5 and put them in whatever order you want.
Right, mix and match.
Yeah. Because like Mailata's been great for them. Lane Johnson is Lane Johnson. Kelsey's one of the best centers of his generation. The guards have been good this year. Like, it's a really good offensive line, especially at run blocking. Shout out to Harrison Smith for choking Lamb. That was the play I was thinking of. I was like, he choked somebody this year, and I couldn't remember who it was. Yeah. But it was CD Lamb. I remember that now.
All right. This is going to sound strange. I'm going to take a quick break and call my dogs off of an inflatable polar bear outside who they believe is coming to kill us.
That is the most Washington thing I've ever heard. I'll see you in a second.
Okay.
Okay. Charging Badger for $2. If you fire Zimmer, do you rebuild with Mond? I don't know, because we haven't seen Mond, you know? So it's tough to like put all my faith in a quarterback they haven't really seen. I would give him a chance, but at the same time, like if you see an opportunity in this year's draft class to get somebody that you think even higher of, whether it's Kenny Pickett, Malik Willis, like whoever, Mond is not somebody that, you know, would completely keep me from taking somebody higher and riding with them. And like worst case, you know, Mond has high upside if he ends up being, ironically, like a Kirk Cousins type who you take in the 4th round. I think they got him in the 3rd, but you know, a day 2, day 3 guy that ends up being a starter for you. That's awesome, but it's not something that I would completely bank the future of my franchise on. Like maybe if you want to spend all these picks this year on other stuff to surround him with talent, you know, maybe you want to look for another younger receiver as Thielen ages and you want to get a future number 2 or number 3 for Jefferson. Tight end, I think you're fine. Running back, I think you're fine. Like offensive line, when they're healthy, I think is fine. Like maybe you want to invest more in the secondary, which is yet again another issue. Linebacker's a little aged for them, so maybe you're looking at like a successor type pick for them. Like there's stuff they can do that isn't quarterback related, but like how you phrase the question, do you rebuild with Mond? It just depends on if you believe in Mond, but we haven't really seen him play in the NFL, so it's tough for me to like get behind that 100%. I would say it's like, you know, do you invest in talent around Mond and then see what you have and then maybe make a move for a quarterback? Like that's a viable strategy, but it just depends on where they're picking, who's available. You know, if like a Pickett or a Malik Willis falls into their lap, I would not blame them at all for just going in that direction and not really putting all their eggs in the Mond basket. Russell Wilson to Denver. I mean, supposedly that's one of the teams that his camp leaked this week on purpose that he would waive his trade clause for. You know, that story doesn't develop unless Russell's people want it out. So there's something going on there. Not really entirely sure what, but it does seem like Russ wants out. Even if they're winning a bunch of games in the back half of the season, it still does kind of seem like he's planning for the future to be somewhere else. Where can I find the game? I'm watching it on VPN right now on the European version of Game Pass, but I think it's on Amazon, right? Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure it's on Amazon. This is one of the Thursday games that I think they're streaming there. But again, correct me if I'm wrong. Peyton, thoughts on Hard Knocks? My favorite part of being a Colts fan is Big Q being ruthless to opponents and super encouraging to teammates. I have not got to see the midseason Hard Knocks yet. I know that makes me a bad football fan. But in general, I do love Hard Knocks. And I was probably going to end up like binging it or something, you know, later on down the line. I just haven't had a whole lot of time to watch it from week to week. Like I've seen some clips on Twitter here and there, and, you know, it looks like typical good, entertaining Hard Knocks. But yeah, I have not got to see this one. It's probably going to end up kind of being like All or Nothing for me, which is a show also ironically on Amazon that I love. Have you got to watch Hard Knocks at all? The Colts one, the midseason one?
No, yeah. I think there's a lot of people that would be surprised how much content outside of the NFL and college football that I completely miss because I spend all my time doing this. They're like, "Hey, did you binge this series?" And I'm like, "Nope, heard it was good. Haven't seen it."
Yeah, if I get like a day, I can binge it because I have HBO. But the hard part is getting the day.
Yeah, the days are tougher to come by. By the way, we're on to beer number 2, one of my all-time favorites from Ninkasi out of Eugene, Oregon. Slayer.
You working your way through a sixer of that?
I am. This is number 2, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
So cracked it open the other night, but no, one of the great holiday beers ever. 7.2 by volume though, so the takes might go up in the second half.
Soon you're going to be talking about how Harrison Smith murdered your entire family and you're on some like Mel Gibson type revenge tour.
Well, do like Man on Fire, Denzel kind of thing.
What was it they did in Man on Fire? Put the C4 up his butt?
Man on Fire was a rough movie. It actually was not a great Denzel film. We could rank top 5.
Oh, whoa. I will go to the mat for Man on Fire. I
liked Man on Fire, but you think it's a top 5 Denzel film, really? I mean, that's a halftime discussion.
Well, I didn't say top 5.
Well, that's what I said, and you freaked out. So there you go. I liked Man on Fire. I've seen it a couple of times.
I think that was like Dakota Fanning when she was still a kid.
Yep.
Was in that movie. She did a great job.
Yep.
Fucking great movie. Classic Denzel. Not saying it's Training Day.
All right.
Classic Denzel.
Yeah, no, it's not. I just have to ask, does the GM ad where everybody's clapping and laughing and not watching the road and blazing down the highway at 65 with their hands off the wheel in an 8,000-pound vehicle bug anybody else? Like,
that's not legal, right? I thought you still had to have your hands on the wheel.
I don't really care. I just think it's not a great idea, regardless of how good the tech is. Yeah. Anyways, makes me terribly uncomfortable. So there you go.
Because I think, wasn't that like the point of like Tesla's thing where like you still need to like actively be touching it or something? And people were getting in trouble because they were like,
flip that.
Shut up.
Oh, it's that Kirk night. Oh yeah. Who's that guy that couldn't get 7.5?
Jefferson.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That guy. He caught another one.
Oh, great.
Oh my
the only
God.
The only under I took for the entire night.
I don't know the Steelers numbers well enough. Who's 25? He's been crushing 20 all night.
20 is Sutton, who's
no, he's been crushing inside. 20 all night. That was 25. They had him high load, but and another like massive run fit from the Steelers. This is going to get gross quick.
Who's 25? Akella Witherspoon. I forgot he was there.
Jefferson just put him in a blender.
Yeah, this Steelers Minka's so fucking pissed. You can see it after he tackled Dalvin.
I told you at the top. I told you.
Dude, he's yelling at everybody right now because they're all just sucking. And he's having to make every single tackle. Like run game, pass game, Minka's having to make every single tackle.
Okay, D-line finally made one.
Urban cohort for 11-11. I can usually tell if a team isn't producing or pressuring, but I can't get my head around the technical terms in the NFL. Any resources I can go to for football 102? There's a few. Stand by.
Books at the ready.
This is one of my favorite books. I literally almost always have it by my desk. It is the Pass Coverage Glossary by Cameron Soren. If you want to understand technical terms when it comes to coverages, the pages kind of look like this. And it gives you, like different terminologies for different systems, like Saban terminologies, Venables terminologies, Gary Patterson terminologies.
By the way,
it's a great book.
Here's your first look at Steelers linebackers coverage.
55. Yeah, he said facetiously.
Oh yeah. Air quotes, hardcore.
Jesus Christ. Yeah,
he's
Devin
got
Bush
3 yards of separation. Like
Devin Bush has been struggling.
Yeah, struggle bus hardcore, especially against the pass.
It's been rough. Other than that, if you want something else, if you go to the like Inside the Pylon has like a football term glossary. the ITP football glossary. It's really, really great. God, what else is there? If you go to the Coach Vast football channel,
Yeah.
V is in Victor, A, S is in Sam, S is in Sam. He does these streams like every Tuesday night that are also like logged and saved over on his YouTube channel, where he'll just like go through a game, and he's a coach, so he goes through and gets very technical with things. He's a great resource for virtually every single football content creator out there. So there's a lot of different resources, but in terms of like coverage, this book is a godsend.
Oh my God. Like Tree has, I want to go to Tree's stream right now.
Oh, he's got to be losing his mind.
Like he's probably breaking stuff at this point.
I mean,
it's not even close. The entire side of the field is open.
The corner's one job is to contain. Oh my God.
It's not even close.
This, like, I thought the Mixon game was the low point we were going to see from the Steelers defense.
They look ready to implode. Like, they look ready to just.
Oh my God. Fucking Edmonds. Jesus. What are you doing?
Dalvin's looking at him the whole time like, you're not gonna catch me. Dalvin's thinking, I picked the right game to come back because they're giving me 8-yard wide lanes. I don't even have to take contact. Oh man. The Steelers fans pride themselves, obviously, on many things. They have a very proud history and tradition and a ton of recent success. But those teams stop the run. Like, those teams stop the run. This team
can't do shit.
It's not just not stopping the run. Like, everybody gave Buffalo crap about the run in the game that we talked about versus the Pats. But, like, this is on a whole nother level. This looks like bad, like 130th out of 155th in college football run defense. Like, it's bad.
Like Texas Tech status.
Oh, by the way, Venables leaving Clemson. Anybody that's at Clemson right now might want to think about that transfer portal. Woo.
Yeah, things are not looking great at Clemson
and it's funny because my buddy from Texas who lives in Austin just sent me a text yesterday. There's another guy coming out of Westlake High, very famous high school in Texas, produced a lot of talent.
There's always people coming out of Westlake.
His name's Cade Klubnik, I think. He's coming out of Westlake. Look for him, committed to Clemson. And I was like, oh, committed to Clemson? He might want to like decommit and go somewhere else.
As a quarterback, you committed?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the place I would go to.
Not without Venables. You're going to have a lot more work to do.
It's not even that. Like, Dabo's refusal to like use the transfer portal is hurting their overall depth and
anti NIL, the whole bit. It's like, yeah. I mean, maybe I don't know. You never know. I'm never going to get on somebody's choice because I'm not in their head. I'm not in their family. I don't know what they need, want, like, whatever.
Dabo's not the right coach for the modern, like, where college football is going. He's not the right coach.
Oh, I agree. But I'm not going to say, hey, that guy was wrong to go to Clemson because I wasn't there. I never got recruited for that kind of thing. So, hey, maybe he loves that choice. As an outsider looking in, I'm like, not
honestly, Joe Brady's going to Miami. You should look at Miami.
Well, maybe. Miami's a whole different school, though. That people forget that Miami's a private school. Like,
it is?
Yeah.
Like the U.
The U
is a private school?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I know. Nobody knows that. It always freaks me out, especially if you go back to like the whole history of like when I was in high school, my sister was going to St. Mary's in Notre Dame. So was following Notre Dame. That was the whole Catholics versus convicts. Like they did a 30 for 30 on it. Right.
Yeah. You're playing in the grungy old Orange Bowl. Like I thought
that.
It was,
but I mean, like, it's so funny that everybody's thinking about University of Miami as convicts because it's in Miami, but it's a private school. It's expensive. Like, and their admission standards are rough. It's like trying to get, it's not necessarily like trying to get folks to Stanford, but like it's like trying to get folks into Notre Dame. Like, you have higher admission standards. It's tough. You're not dealing with, it's not Florida State. It's not Florida. Like, they're not state schools.
I thought it was like a UCLA type thing, because UCLA is hard to get into too, but it's also a state school. Like, I thought it was that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Anyway, Paxman for $5. I've heard a lot of scouts compare this upcoming wide receiver rookie class to the 2014 class. Do you feel that way? And will we continue to see wide receivers be this good? I haven't done enough work on them to say yes or no, but I've looked at Burks. He's a freak. Jameson Williams is a freak. Drake London is a freak. A lot of freaks. I still don't have like final grades or anything like that, but I distinctly remember when the 2014 class was coming out. I was like, oh,
no, but this is
pretty insane.
I mean, you look at this class. I'll answer the second part first. Do you feel that way? And will we continue to see wide receivers be this good? Yes. Like that's the point we're at in college football. You're going to continue to see stacked wide receiver classes for the foreseeable future. But this class has everything the last couple classes had, and I don't want to say more, but everything the last couple classes had. You've got guys like Mechie. We'll see if he comes out with his injury or stays. Olave, Wilson, both from Ohio State. Pickens from Georgia, Bell, Michigan. Some second-tier guys like Khalil Shakir from Boise State, Jaquiz Azard from Sam Houston State. Remember that name. You get down, you've got
did you mention Dotson?
Not yet. Jahan Dotson's there, Jameson Williams, Drake London, Velus Jones, who's kind of a all everything, more of a Debo kind of a guy from Tennessee. Wan'Dale Robinson from Kentucky.
Oh, he's fun.
Yeah. And Treylon Burks we talked about, like, there's a ton of talent. And I didn't even name the second tier guys that you're going to get to know, the Jalen Tolberts of the world, and Christian Watson, Ty Freifogel. Like, these are all guys that are going to contribute. But just the names I named at the top, like, that's the first 2 to 3 rounds worth of wide receivers, and they're all good.
Ooh. All right. We're nominating Harry for shot of the week.
I saw the replay on Ben.
Yikes. Crushed him.
Yeah, I was looking at my list. I didn't see it. Same screen. For all the screens I have in this room, I only have 2 wired to my own computer. So
God, Harrison just obliterated him. Great hit.
I really want to see Harvin hit somebody. Pittsburgh's punter.
Andrew said, apparently Harry's hand was stuck in Lamb's chin strap. That is not something that I heard, but thank you for the note.
Oh, man. And that is a good clean hit, by the way, by Harrison Smith. There's nothing dirty about that, but Ben is not. That's some cold tub time for Ben.
He's not going to feel good. So I retract my statement on him choking Lamb. I did not know that his hand was stuck in his chin strap.
He's still a dirty bastard.
Says the Bears fan. Can't take anything you say seriously.
Well, sure you can. You take it very seriously. It's just know that it comes with bias.
Matthew Wright for $5. What's a good resource for somebody who never played but is trying to learn about the game? For example, coverages, routes, a game glossary, if you will. Well, as I mentioned earlier, which I just threw it away. The Pass Coverage Glossary by Cam Soren is a fantastic book. The Inside the Pylon, like, terminology glossary is great.
Depends on what you like too. Like, if you like more technical books and more technical resources, those are both great. If you're more into sort of a narrative or story, if that helps you cement the information in your brain, Genius of Desperation by Doug Farrar is a great book about how innovators changed the game as they came up to situations they didn't like and they wanted to turn the odds in their favor. Just depends on what you like, because there's like, if you're looking for that game glossary or just technical, like, I see this, what is it called, if you want, who invented it, whatever. There's lots of resources like that. And it depends on what part of the game you want to look at too. Like, if you're really interested in line play, on either side, like go check out Brandon Thorne's Substack, one of the best resources going. He just did a history of the ghost move, which was immaculately researched and just brilliant stuff. We love Brandon. He's been on the show. He's amazing. It just depends. It's like chess, right? You can learn the rules really quickly, but you can spend your entire life dissecting very small pieces of the game, and all you really learn is that there's way more to learn, which is fantastic, which is why it's endlessly fascinating.
What's that curve where, like, when you don't know a whole lot, you're super confident, and as you learn more, you're like, holy shit, this is way more than I thought, and then you kind of like have to do a reverse bell curve. Can't remember the name for it.
I don't know that I've ever asked you this, but I should. Did you ever watch the TV show The Unit?
Yeah, great show.
Great show. They have an episode in The Unit called The 200th Hour. And the reason they name it that is because that's when the mortality rate for pilots is the highest, right? Because they're like, no, I got this shit. And then they run themselves into a situation where they don't. And it's right around their 200th hour. And it's that same curve of, I don't got it. I'm terrible. I don't know anything. Oh, I'm the greatest. I know everything. Oh, wait, I'm terrible. I don't know anything. Oh, man. They're re-showing Harrison's hit. That's a rough one.
That's got to be a nominee for shot of the week.
Oh, for sure. I think that's shoehorned in there. Oh, another good, tremendous run fit from the Steelers. Oi.
Yeah, he says facetiously.
There's so many good players on the Steelers, and it's such a proud history, but whoa, they look awful tonight. They're getting gashed.
Spice patty for $5. Zeke, question mark. We've seen the Pollard deficiency not necessarily equate to more touches. Is Zeke just cooked, or is this injury with a bit of owner hubris too? I mean, knee injuries are tough for running backs. I do think it's very injury related, because earlier in the season when he was healthy, he looked very spry. He looked like old Zeke. He looked like he was in great shape. I think the knee injury kind of messed him up a little bit, but if he can get a little bit healthier for the playoffs, I think he'll be just fine. What happened?
Cousins just unleashed the most un-Cousins ball ever. You're thrilled about this.
Did that get hit on the way out?
No, he just let it go out of his hand. It was like a flutter ball. He never throws flutter balls. Like, Cousins throws a really nice ball. Anyways, Justin didn't get a catch because of that, so you're loving it.
I mean, he almost still got it, though.
I know, he's wide open, by the way.
Yeah, because the Steelers' corners are playing 7 yards off.
And you took the what?
Took the under.
Under, that's the one. I couldn't remember the name for the guy that's going to lose.
I knew they would give up catches. I didn't think they'd be completely fucking incompetent.
It's true. So here's the thing with the Zeke and Pollard question. Zeke's actually been low-key good this year. Pollard, we're huge fans of. That's on record all the way back to the beginning of Bootleg. We can call him one of the best backups, but honestly, we think he could start on about a third of the teams in the league and be better than their starter. Pollard is just a great, great player. And teams that have 2 and 3 running backs deep of quality starters, Dallas is one of those teams. Cleveland's one of those teams. The Colts were one of those teams. The Bears are now one of those teams with Montgomery and Herbert. Those teams are going to prosper because did you go to a 17-game season and eventually an 18-game season? Running back is one of the highest wear positions, if not the highest wear position in the NFL. And your guys are going to get banged up, and you're going to need somebody to come in where the drop-off isn't huge or is equally as good in different ways. And that's what Dallas has in Zeke and Pollard. There's essentially no drop-off, and in some areas an increase. So, it's a good situation to be in. People say, oh, it's luxury, it's overkill. Nope, it's not. You need them. We've seen it in Cleveland, right? Chubb went down and they went right to Kareem Hunt. And when they couldn't do that, they went right to Dearness Johnson. They're 3 deep. And Dearness Johnson ripped it up with 120 or 30 yards in his start. And, we'd been talking about him for a couple of years. You're going to need that in the NFL. Like, you can't draft them high. You can't pay them a ton, but you need 2 or 3 good ones, and you can find them. Khalil Herbert's a 6th round pick. You look at 4th round picks.
Shouldn't have been a 6th-round pick.
He shouldn't have been a 6th-round pick, and Carter shouldn't have been a 4th-round pick, but he was.
Yeah.
But that's the thing is there's always the running backs. It's not one year or another. We talked about wide receivers being good. Wide receivers are going to continue to be good. Running backs you're going to be able to continue to find in the low rounds and even in the UDFA market. And
James Robinson. Although James Robinson, they're not using him right now. They should, but point taken. Andrew for $5. If the Seahawks get rid of Carroll and Schneider, do they rebuild? And if so, who do they build around besides Adams?
Did Cousins get hit in the head?
What happened?
Watch this play.
All right. Oh, you know what? Side adjust.
Yeah, it's a side adjust, and KJ didn't catch it.
Well, I think Kirk thought that he was just going to keep going, and he snapped off the route on like a go stop option.
But you missed by 20 yards, and I know why, right? But like again, that's not Cousins doesn't make those mistakes. He makes other mistakes. But
it's possible the receiver made a mistake if the leverage was such that he should have kept running and he just misread it.
But like in the last 5 plays, we've seen 2 very non-Cousins things. One is, look, the ball could have slipped out of his hand, whatever. He doesn't throw ducks like that. And the other one is, that was just a flat miss by 15, 20 yards. And yeah, it's a side adjust that went wrong, but that's not typically the mistake he makes, right? Or maybe it's not his.
What happened to TJ Watt? Why is he on the sideline with his helmet off?
I don't know.
All right, chat, help me out here. Andrew, to answer your question, do they rebuild? And if so, do they build around who do they build around besides Adams? Well, a rebuild, it's very possible, does not include Russell Wilson. Very possible. In which case, this is the last ride for Pete, Schneider, and Russ, and you're doing literally all new everything. They don't have any first-round picks because the Adams thing, even though they would have had a top 10 pick without the Adams trade, which in hindsight is not great.
I wonder if his arm's hurt. He just completed one to KJ, but look at his arm angle. It's really weird.
The ball's kind of coming out a little bit soft.
Look at the one he just completed to KJ. He's got his elbow like all weird, and he's like, ugh.
The follow through isn't
something
snapping.
Goofy. Like I wonder if he got popped, like if his arm got pinned to his side or something.
I don't know.
He's not throwing it the way he typically throws it. That's weird.
So a rebuild in Seattle is going to be a long process because of the lack of early draft capital. It's going to be a long process, which is probably why everybody's thinking Russ might want to jump ship, because he's at the age now where he doesn't really have time to wait for a long rebuild to happen. And Denver's kind of good to go. And the Saints are kind of good to go.
I'm telling you, Giants.
It's possible. I mean, it's a big media market. That was one of the 3 teams that were leaked, and people were asking why the Giants. And it's like, well, Sierra would love it if they're in New York, and Russell would too. Big media market. It's not the best like football fit, but in terms of like career and earnings potential fit, yeah, it makes a lot of. Oh my god,
it's not terrible. Like the Giants have weapons.
They have well, for how long is the question?
Well, always for how long, but they have them now.
And
they're not being maximized by their quarterback. So, and their line, they've invested a lot in their line. It hasn't all worked out, but they have young pieces on their line.
Ironically enough, Andrew Thomas is playing a lot better this year.
Oh, God.
But he's almost looked like their only good offensive lineman. But they need a right tackle. But the thing is, if they're trading a whole bunch of picks for Russ, they might not have the picks to improve the line. So.
If you want to keep your tortellini down, don't watch that.
All right. Cut 25 right now. Like at halftime, cut 25.
I like him as a player, but he's terrible in this game.
Cut everybody not named TJ and Minka. You look at Tomlin, he's like, wow, man. You can read his lips. He's fucking over it.
So that's a first day install run stop. Like, what's up, guys?
And Devin, oh my God, buddy. What are you trying to backdoor?
Can you imagine? I I might have to go if Tree records it and posts it. I might have to go watch it just for the trauma porn.
I might just give all of my donos tonight to Tree to make him feel better. At least if he's gonna lose, he can go to sleep on a pile of money.
He's going to sleep on a pile of money anyways. We already talked about that. He's averaging roughly 10K, 10 times the viewers we have.
Good guy though. He doesn't deserve this misery.
No, Tree's good. Tree's good people.
Alex for $5. Chase Claypool is who everyone thinks Juju Smith-Schuster is. That could be interpreted very positively or very negatively, and I'm curious which way you meant it.
Wait, somebody said, sorry, RJ Harold says, whoa, Cam Hayward slander? Who? Broadcast or us?
Because I said cut everybody not named TJ or Minka. Okay, Cam can stay too.
All right, no. I'm like, I didn't say anything bad about Cam. Like Cam is Aaron Donald in another jersey when he's healthy. He's just underneath Aaron Donald. Like he plays at that level and he does not get that level of recognition.
Oh, Tomlin, you can read his lip. He says soft as shit.
He's not wrong.
He's not true, but he's going to tear them to pieces in the locker room.
Well, if he was, they're just lucky they're not playing for Joe Judge because they'd be running all Monday.
They'd be running at halftime. They wouldn't even go to the locker room.
That's true. You'd be running stairs like, clear the way. Here they come.
Hard Knocks with the Cowboys was so boring this year. I wouldn't know. I didn't see it. It's hard for me to watch Hard Knocks, man. I don't got time. Like, I love the show, but
Tree walked off screen 3 times so far and came back with a beer each time. I bet he did. I bet he did. Next time it's going to be liquor. Be careful. Why is this live streaming on Brett's channel and not the Bootleg channel? Because Underdog asked for that, and I was lucky enough to get invited over. That's why.
Which, speaking of, let me do my job here. Here, hold on. Oh, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. I'm getting there. There's so many banners, so little time. So
there we go.
This, if I can find it, was the slip that I put in.
Oh man. Oh, take frames off. There you go. Job doing.
There we go. I need to find something better than StreamYards. Oh my God. And this one too.
You got to take a lot of banners off. You need me to do it?
StreamYards is so clunky. I swear to God. So this was the slip that I put in before the game. Almost definitely going to get smashed. Almost definitely. Justin Jefferson's like 80% of the way there in the first half. KJ Osborne, I don't think is passed yet. Freiermuth, I don't even think has a target yet. Conklin, I thought was going to get more targets, but as long as you're just throwing ball. Oh, what the fuck happened there? Did you see that? Bro, the ball went like 15 yards backwards.
It's like, we're going to have to find something to talk about for the second half. We're going to have to like invent a speed round game or something because this is going to be gross. Like neither team has played great. The Steelers have played terribly. The Vikings have played averagely, and they are up by 20 plus. Like the second half does not portend well.
I'm like in shock about everything related to this game. Like I didn't think it was.
I'm like in shock about everything. This.
I'm technically still alive on this slip, but
no,
unless
you're
just
technically alive on this slip the same way the Bears are alive for the playoffs.
My only hope is that they get so far ahead that they bench Jefferson at 7 catches, and then they leave Conklin and Osborne in, and I like get a backdoor on this. But
yeah, if they go up by 30, like seriously, if they go up by 30, then you might get your wish. Like I would do it. I would take my best player off the field and say
it's possible. It's possible, but it's not likely. And I need everybody else to start pulling their weight.
Yeah, this slip is not one that I'd buy out at halftime. Like, hey, I want to get in on that. Like, nope.
I was doing so great too. I hit on a couple of these. If you guys like playing pick'ems, though,
pal, you're getting to watch Thursday night football with your buddy, and well, in your case, drink coffee. Like, your life is good.
I could be doing a lot worse.
Yes.
I mean, this is my job, is to watch football. Who can honestly complain? I'm not making Pat McAfee money,
Nobody's making Pat
but I can
McAfee
pay the
money.
mortgage, and that's good
Hey,
enough for me.
this is for Pat. Like, Pat has been doing it his way for a long time. He has held his middle finger to the man more than once in an industry where you usually don't get even a single chance to do that. And the guy signed for $30 million a year today. Like, all credit to Pat McAfee. Incredible work before and after. Like, here's to you, pal. Like, you're making it happen. Just so good.
Trailblazer, man. He's one of the people
100%.
that shows that independent sports media can work.
100%. So big ups to Pat McAfee today. Well deserved.
Yeah. If you want me to get somewhat closer to 30 million a year by 0.000000001%, and you're interested in doing pickups like these, where hopefully you're not as dumb as me and you take the over on Justin Jefferson in the future. If you use my promo code Brett at the link in the description below, any deposit you do on Underdog Fantasy on these pick'ems, any deposit up to $100, they will match. So you get an extra $100 to use on the platform if you so choose, or whatever you decide to deposit. And you don't have to do, 5-way parlays, which are like 20 to 1 odds. So if you put like, say, $10 down on this at 20 to 1 odds, it pays out $200. You don't have to do 5-way. You can do 2, 3, 4, and the odds kind of escalate with each given time. So you can just kind of do whatever you're comfortable with. But again, if you're interested in doing these kind of pick'ems to make games like this one slightly more watchable, you can check out that link and use my promo code and get some benefits. And thank you to Underdog for sponsoring. They've been a great partner for me all year long.
Fantastic. They're great partners. They're great partners for you. They're great partners for us at Bootleg over the summer, which is tremendous. And before anybody asks, why don't I have pick'ems? Because I live in a state where it ain't legal yet, which is weird, but won't be long.
You think Washington's going to approve it soon? I don't know if they really want to cut into
They approved. This is a big deal in Washington. And it actually happened right after I got back from Vegas. Like the week I got back from Vegas for when I was there week 1 with you. They approved it for tribes. The tribal casinos have sports books now. And literally that is the first sports gambling in Washington. Like before, you could not place a sports bet in Washington on an app or any place physically. Like you had to basically, people just flew to Vegas and did it at the preseason, right? They just set up a whole season's worth of bets. Now you can go down to the Snoqualmie tribe or Emerald Queen, which is the Puyallup tribe right down the road from me. There's, I think, 5 tribal casinos that are approved for sports betting now. And I can go down and place a sports bet if I want to, which is huge news. So that's the loosening, but states are into this. Like Illinois decided 3 years ago, like, maybe we'll allow it. And they made $400 million.
I was going to say, it's got to be in the hundreds of millions.
Yeah, they made $400 million and they were like, oh, we should get in on that. Like, so yeah, eventually Washington will come around and sports betting will be legal and I'll be able to hop on and put my underdog picks up. And then, we'll go from there.
Ben's yelling at Tomlin on the sideline.
Everybody's yelling at everybody when you're losing like this. It's ugly. It's not fun. Nobody likes it. It's one thing to be down 3 points, 7 points, even if you were favored in a game. It's a completely different thing to be getting blown out by 23 shutout at halftime against
a
team
5-7 team. Yeah.
Yeah. Against a team that, at least on paper you match up with. Okay. Like, yeah, you weren't favored, but you also, nobody was betting you're going to get blown out by 23. So I said I'd take the points on Minnesota, right?
Yes, I think, right?
Yes. Yes, so I did. Roll the tape back. I said I'd take
I took the under on Jefferson. I took the points on Steelers, and I took the over.
Now, the under-over, I don't think I would have. I said I wouldn't touch the under-over. I said I would take the Vikings to cover, and I said I would take the over on Jefferson. So we'll see. We'll see who ends up on the plus side of this.
They just gave another catch to Jefferson for no yards, but a catch is a catch.
Catch is a catch for you. Yeah, you didn't bet yards.
See, what's
that
he
was
at
a
now?
terrible throw.
Let me look. Jefferson is at
It's got to be at 5.
6 for 70, 6 for 67.
Yeah, in the first half.
Not
He needs
looking great.
2. Yeah, if you're betting against one of the top 5 receivers in the NFL, and I just said that, to have 2 catches, not to have 2 catches in the second half, other than getting pulled, not a great bet.
It's not that I was betting against him, but I was betting on the Steelers having a competent game plan.
Nope. Oh, yeah. That competency thing just took another hit.
Like the one time I need them to not be completely
to
inept.
be honest, I've been watching Steelers football my best friend growing up was a Steelers fan. Still is. I've been watching Steelers football for a long time. Let's just put it at that. I don't think I've ever seen them play a game. And I watched the Steelers play in a crazy monsoon game on AstroTurf with my grandfather when I was in single digits. Like, I don't think I've ever seen a Pittsburgh team be completely unable to fit the run. And tonight, they're just everything the Vikings run is wide open. Like,
they just look like they don't want to be there.
It's rugged. Oh, we're getting a flag on that. No? Wow.
Chase Claypool is who everyone thinks Juju Smith-Schuster is. Again, I think that can be interpreted in multiple different ways. I think as a player, they're very different skill sets. Personality-wise, I think they both have had moments that make you think, probably shouldn't do that.
What y'all doing?
I think they both can get overly emotional, and I think DBs know that, and they can get into their heads fairly easily. I'll just say that. Juju less so than Chase. I think Chase is a little bit more vulnerable to that,
for sure.
Yeah, like they're both dominant like athletes, but I do think emotionally they are vulnerable to. Well, Juju less so as an athlete, but I think they are vulnerable to DBs getting in their heads a little bit.
You know what you can learn in games like this?
Who
still wants to play?
Deontay Johnson wants to play.
That's right. That's freaking right. Like, that's impressive. Not that I didn't like Deontay before, but
who do you think drafts $5?
Who
do you think drafts a QB? Also, not just cheering for CBJ because I'm a fan, but my other 2 teams are Vegas and Edmonton. Okay. You're versatile. You're versatile. I think New York. Well, I'll say this: depends on where Russell goes. Depends on where Aaron goes.
Sure.
Depends on where Jordan Love goes. Because I think he's also a potential moving piece here.
No, it doesn't. If you traded for Jordan Love, would you not draft a quarterback? Like, I don't think that's.
It depends on what you're giving up. Depends on what you're giving up.
Does it really? Like, in a sensible world, does it?
If you spend a 2nd round pick on him, are you also going to spend your 1st round pick on a quarterback?
Depends on who I am.
Giants. With all the other things you need to address.
My answer is yes, but that's why I'm the anti-Dave Gettleman. Like, until you have a quarterback, you have nothing. And we've talked about this at length. Like, and you do whatever you need to, and I mean whatever you need to, until you get them. And then you can stop and do the other things. But you cannot compete without a quarterback, period. And you won't probably get one on the first swing. Like that, the odds say you won't get one on the first swing. That cannot keep you from taking another swing. Like, you can give them the 2 or 3 years, but after that, you've got to take another swing.
It's possible the Giants take a couple swings because so far Daniel Jones has not proven to be worthy of not being replaced. I'll put it that way. Lions are a maybe, But I also think if they end up with the first overall pick, like edge rushers in play, Evan Neal or the NC State
what
kid
did
is
you
in
need out of
play.
Firemouth?
Like 35.
Oh, you just got like 20 garbage.
I'll take it. Whatever I can
you just
get.
got like 20 garbage out of Firemouth.
Yeah, whatever I can get from him, that's fine with me.
No, you just got like a 9 seconds left, like 20-yard
Yeah.
piece of garbage from Firemouth.
Because they can't throw Hail Marys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, there's
Cam
probably going to
Hayward.
be 5 quarterbacks that go in the first 50 picks, I would imagine. Regardless of what you think of this quarterback class, that's what's going to happen. Let me see here. Wow. Letting that one out slow.
Wow, that's a seltzer. That's not even a beer. Alternating here for maximum efficiency.
Luke Kuechly, Hall of Fame. Short answer,
First
yes.
ballot.
Long answer, yes.
First ballot.
First ballot. Arguably the best linebacker of his generation. He's going in first ballot. On to 6 Soldier. What's wrong with the Raiders offense, and would you move on from Carr? I don't think I'd move on from Carr because I don't think you're going to get anybody better.
No.
Like, unless Russell Wilson's going there, but I don't think he is.
I like the cut of Alex's jib, but we got to get to our $20 question too.
We shall. What's the in terms of like what's like the key that in terms of like what's the root issue here?
I love that you just did the stop that you do when we're recording podcasts.
When we're recording podcasts, yeah.
Live stream.
Where I can't cut any.
I'm sorry, that gives me great joy. Only me,
out.
but gives me great joy.
People don't realize how much I cut out of the podcast. There's like 20, 30 minutes, like every episode that I cut out of me just resetting because I don't know what the fuck I'm saying.
How much do I cut out?
How many times do you reset? Like maybe once a show.
Yep. People don't realize that's because JB and I, when we started Bears Over Beers, we didn't really know how to edit. Like SB Nation was like, do a podcast. And we're like, great. Where do we send it? And they're like, you don't send it anywhere. You're like, you have to put it up. We're like, as a finished product? And they were like, yeah. We're like, how do we do that? They're like, good luck. Bye. And so we just didn't make mistakes because we didn't know how to cut them out. Like, we learned, but, so we would go an hour show and just not reset, like just not say stupid stuff. And that's how I came up. And so I don't.
But that's my career is saying stupid stuff.
Yeah, but you're also a very talented editor. So you have that luxury. You could say dumb stuff and it never happens. You just erase it.
You don't see any of it.
Yeah, it's
decent
movie magic.
Chunk.
It's beautiful.
There's a decent chunk that was left on the cutting room floor this episode.
I would say this last episode that we recorded, this is halftime talk. We left more on the cutting room floor than we have in any other bootleg episode, and I don't think that's an exaggeration. I mean, we've done
it was literally
80 of those now.
Minutes.
Like we've done like 80 bootlegs, and this last one we recorded, we probably left like 20 minutes on the cutting room floor, and I don't think that's more. There you go. The most that we've ever left on the floor in a bootleg episode. Yeah. Anyways,
let's just say I messed up a lot. As for getting back to what's wrong with the Raiders offense, they need another speed threat severely to open.
Well, they lost one they were counting on through no fault of their own.
No, that wasn't their own fault. But like Ruggs as a player made a huge difference on that offense that went away as soon as he went away. The offensive line's been hit or miss. I don't necessarily think it's like the root problem of anything, but I do think they could use an infusion of depth there to protect them from injuries because they tend to get hurt a lot up front. Jacobs, I think, is a good player. Drake, unfortunately, just got hurt this past week, but I had no problems with him being a number 2 running back. Waller's obviously an elite tight end, but they just need that extra speed threat to really open up the intermediate area of the field where Carr tends to thrive a lot as like an accurate pocket passer. When you can kind of stretch things vertically and open things up, like he's really, really good. If you make him throw tight window hole shots every single time because the defense can just kind of like clamp down on the intermediate area, you're going to struggle a little bit more. So that's number one. You know, I would look at like a Jahan Dotson for them. Jameson Williams is probably an easy one as like a legit 4-3 kind of guy. Like they need that element to kind of get back to what they were early on in the year.
I'm just going to ask you a random question. What's the temperature at your house right now?
It was rainy today, so probably like 50 something.
Okay, because both Howie and Terry are in overcoats.
Well, they're a little bit closer to the coast. They're right over by Santa Monica.
Come on, man. Really?
Wait, 11 degrees Celsius. Fuck, I'm on a VPN. So it thinks I'm in Germany. 11 Celsius Fahrenheit. So that
Can't do metric temperature?
51.8 degrees.
Okay, it's 51. Fahrenheit. I'll get there, you know, SoCal, I'll give him credit. But Glazer out here, hey, rocking the vest and the coat. He's going old school. I love it. Yeah, no, I wouldn't give up on Carr because, again, we talked about this. Carr has shown himself to be a very capable quarterback, top 10, and being filled with enough hubris that you think you're going to get another top 10 quarterback if you let one go, you're going to find out real quick that the odds are not typically great. And I know folks in Indianapolis and Green Bay and a couple of other places are like, what do you mean? We had 30 years with the Hall of Fame quarterbacks in a row. What's the deal? Why is it so hard? The answer is it's really hard. Wait till you leave that club. It's not an easy one to get back into.
That Niner guy for $5. Thoughts on Jermaine Johnson from Florida State? I think he's going to be the steal of the draft. I have not got to him yet. EJ, have you? And your
arrows up on Jermaine Johnson. Like,
okay,
I haven't done my full workup, but like, yeah, Jermaine Johnson train. Let's go. Again, where he fits in the overall edge class or whatever else, that's yet to be determined. I haven't done my full workup on him, but the few flashes I've seen from him when I have looked at him are like, whoa, okay, that's legit. He's on my list. Solidly on my list, way up high. Like, gonna look at him quick. Looking forward to
going to either of the.
I believe he's going Senior Bowl.
Okay,
so we'll see him up close. Yeah, super in on Jermaine Johnson. Real interested to see what I think after I do my full workup, but absolutely has caught my eye. Like, steal the draft. Way too early for me to say that, but like, is he a legit player that I'm looking at that has, you know, many flashes on tape that I've seen? Yep.
Matthew Wright for $5. Totally didn't see the same question I asked get asked 2 minutes before me. It's all good, man. It's all good. As long as I can help you. Again. Yeah. As long as I can help you get those resources, it's good enough for me. And thank you for your donation. Really appreciate that. Urban Cohort for $8.89. Exactly. How about that? Another question. I love people that just do like random donation amounts.
Did we ever get to our $20 one, or are you still holding on to that?
I'm getting to it.
Okay, all right.
I go in order. I still got it. So
all right.
Another question. Offense tends to look to the QB to lead them in general, but who is the defensive leader?
Ooh,
varies from team to team.
I love the question. Though. It's a really good question.
Like, if you go like Bears defensive leader probably would be Akeem. You know, I would say you don't think so?
No.
Who?
Roquan.
Already?
Yep.
Okay. Well, there you go. 2 different positions. I would say it was Akeem.
Akeem, it's funny when you mean leader. What do you mean? You mean the guy that's calling the plays? Do you mean the guy that's pulling people together? Do you mean the
person heart and soul? For like the Saints, like Cam Jordan is like heart and soul of the defense. He's the
heart and soul.
Leader.
I would say is a different question. And yeah, Akeem has been that for a long time. I think this is the year that's dropped off for him. But for many years, between him and Khalil were the best players on defense. Like the players that were going to make the most plays, the players you could lean on in crunch time. If you want to say heart and soul, I would go with Hicks or Mack. In terms of leader, a couple of years ago, it was Eddie Jackson. right? Went back to the safety position in terms of the guy that was calling the defense. This year, it's definitely scooted up. Roquan's the guy. But that's not the same for all defenses. There are defenses where, like, somebody asked about Luke Kuechly earlier. When Luke Kuechly was on the field, he was it. He was the heart and soul. He was the guy making plays. He was the guy making the calls. He was the guy making the checks. Like, Luke Kuechly was the one, and that's really rare. He was all of those things. In other defenses, like for the Steelers, it's Minka, right? Especially right now, it's Minka. If you want to talk about heart and soul, maybe it's Cam Hayward in terms of making plays. Flashiest or sort of highest potential, it's TJ Watt. But if you want a guy calling the defense, seeing everything and getting people in the right place, it's Minka.
You look at the Browns, their emotional leader is Miles, but their second in command, so to speak, believe it or not, is already JOK.
That's
like
that's a young Roquan
already
comparison for sure. Like, I'm the guy that can get it done. So it varies by defense. There are some, I'd say the rarest is when a corner is that person.
I'm trying to remember who's like the last corner that was like the emotional leader of a team.
I was thinking about the
Grande,
Aeneas Williams earlier.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Like, there's a guy that, like, obvious veteran leader presence, knows where everybody's supposed to go, is vocal enough to say, get over there, Rook. Yeah, it varies by defense. There are some defenses where it's somebody on the defensive line. It's typically a linebacker or a safety because they have a central position in the defense just physically, and they can get people in the right place on either side. But occasionally it flips out to corner or an edge rusher. I think if Khalil was a little more demonstrative, it would be Khalil Mack, but he's a quieter guy that is more about watch what I do, don't listen to what I do.
Devin McCourty, maybe, because he played corner for a time.
He's corner safety, but still a guy that super smart. On the Rams defense, this is a really good one. People would say, "Oh, it's Jalen Ramsey, right?" It was Jordan Fuller had the green dot at the beginning of the year. Like Jordan Fuller, who was a late round safety from Ohio State that I really liked. He's team captain, 3 years in Ohio State. Like, he showed up for me at the combine, just had fluidity in the drills. Him and, L'Jarius Sneed was that year. And I was like, man, that guy moves pretty well. I need to figure out who he is. But Jordan Fuller was a guy that just worked his way into that defense. Again, they had a safety leave. He became the starter and earned the green dot, which is the, microphone in his headset. It varies by defense, but it's a fascinating question. I love the question.
Oscar for $5. I only take the Bears seriously like once every 10 years. You know what? So do Bears fans.
I'd say you're 10 years early. Maybe once every 20.
They had 2018, and then we're waiting for 2028.
And they had 2006. Come on, 2006 to 18. It's only 12
it's 12 years.
Yeah,
they were a little bit late. A little bit late.
Yeah,
they're off cycle. But yeah, I agree. Every decade
or so. They have had a long drought of not being really relevant.
And unfortunately, I'm not sure when this is going to end.
Well, it hinges on pace for me. Nagy's gone. Nagy's gone. There's no question about that. Now, what they do with pace is the key question. If they sweep pace out with Nagy, there's a chance. There's a chance that things could turn around largely because of Justin Fields. They got their guy. They don't have anything else around him. It's going to take a couple of years to get it, but there's still hope there that within the rookie contract with Justin Fields as a first rounder, 5th year control, that a new coach GM combo that works well together could, in a year or two, surround Fields with enough talent that he could compete. So if they keep pace, I was just talking about this today. It's funny, in a private chat on Twitter. If they keep pace, I'm not sure what I'm going to do. There's going to be some form.
You're going to check out just like I checked out from.
I might not do any.
What happened to Connolly?
He got yanked down really nastily. I'm not sure if it was by the neck. It sure looked that way.
It kind of looks like a neck injury.
Yeah. So, anyways, if they
Yeah.
sweep Ryan Pace out and they get a coach GM combo,
Oh God, that was a bad one.
yeah, it didn't look good. It looked like he grabbed him by the neck.
Yeah, that was a really horrific one. That's ugh.
Yeah. So if Pace leaves, Bears have a chance. If Pace stays, it's going to be the same thing. He's going to trade up. He's going to give away draft capital. He's limping. Not a neck injury.
Did he catch his knee when he got yanked down like that? Kind of
Maybe.
like how that happens with like horse collar sometimes.
Yeah, it
where you
looks
get
like
hurt in the
lower
leg.
body to me. I could be wrong.
Because that happens when guys get yanked from
The one that always gets
sometimes.
me, because I've had it happen, and I didn't have it happen in football. I had it happen in soccer where I got upended in the air and I came down and my leg flapped sideways. That just, oh man, it's horrendous.
Yeah.
It hurts really bad.
When you put your full body weight in the wrong direction.
You just come down and your leg just slaps from like the lower calf to your ankle down, whack sideways.
Ugh.
It's just, makes me just
On to
thinking
Six
about it.
Soldier. Let's see. I think this is a double ask, but just in case it wasn't. What's wrong with the Raiders offense? And do you move on from Carr? Got to get a
move
vertical
on from
threat.
Carr. Surround him with some more talent. Get a little more O-line. You be
I'm
good.
kind of like penciling in Jameson Williams in like all my early mock drafts.
Like I'm in. That sounds good.
I think it fits what they need. I mean, he can fucking fly.
Yeah, he's super,
really
super
good.
fast.
And like Carr could throw a deep ball.
Oh, yeah.
He can do it.
My favorite thing about Carr this year is that he's moved on from throwing all rockets and he started to throw some Russell Wilson moonballs, and he needed to. And man, it's working. Giants are a poverty franchise. They're already trash, but let their young QB play messed up neck. Medical staff should be fired. Well, let's just go with the first statement. They're a poverty franchise. Oh, y'all. Like Dave Gettleman has made them into a poverty franchise. And we said this when he was hired. Well, I said this when he was hired because he was hired before we started Bootleg, before I even knew Brett. And I was like, what are they doing? They know what they're going to get. And again, you'd said earlier that, Dabo was not a coach for what is modern in college football. Dave Gettleman is not a GM for what's modern in the NFL. He's going to do the same thing. He's going to draft hog mollies and he's going to double down on mistakes. And as soon as they did, I was like, man, I feel bad for Giants fans because they're just not going to get over the hump. Gettleman's not that guy. And we're seeing it play out. They're not bereft of talent, but, he picked a coach that good luck and they're just not maximizing what they have. Honestly, I don't think they're that much different than the Vikings.
Better quarterback.
Cousins is a better quarterback than Danny.
I don't know. I think the Vikings are much further ahead than the Giants. But the problem is
their results are Vikings not that off.
But like the thing was the Vikings, and this is what's frustrating to me, is like they can make the playoffs every single year. It's the extra step. It's like okay, it's like what the Texans were for a long time. They'll get to the divisional round, and then what?
Yeah.
And it's everything after that I have no confidence in.
No, I'd say the Giants are definitely a step below the Vikings, but they feel the same way in that they have a quarterback who can play well occasionally and really well, but not consistently. They have, I would say, enough talent, not as much talent as the Vikings, but they have enough talent to be better than they are, and they just aren't, and they're not going to be. So Giants are a poverty franchise. Yeah, they need Gettleman again. It's the opposite of Chicago. The GM is for sure gone. There's question mark about whether they're going to keep Judge, and I wouldn't, but
I think they are going to keep Judge.
And I've heard that, and I don't think it's the right thing to do. And I think 2 or 3 years from now, we're going to find out that was true. I could be wrong, right? I could be wrong.
Whoever the new GM that comes in is just going to take all of his picks and try to get like Aaron or,
Well, if they get Russ, the whole thing is different. Oh man. Steelers apparently can't run fit and can't protect because you're going to see the sack coming up on Big Ben. That's gross.
Yeah. Was that Kenny Willekes? No.
It was interior.
It was the guy inside of Kenny Willekes. By the way, I
But
appreciate the
shout out,
Jersky profile pic. Love Jersky.
shout out to Kenny Willekes. Ooh, great return. We love Kenny Willekes. We met him at the Senior Bowl. We got to talk to him 2 or 3 times. Great dude. Great dude.
The real ZBD enjoyed the Mac Jones video. Thank you for that. But looking at this upcoming class, who would you take between Olave and Garrett Wilson?
Great question. Gonna come up a lot. We're gonna talk about this a lot.
That's really hard.
What do you want? That's what the question is so
Yeah.
for what? Like,
I probably
which
lean
franchise?
like in a vacuum, probably Garrett Wilson.
See, you say that. I kind of lean towards Olave, but it's close. And again, it's do you need sort of more explosive or like super polished can win just about anywhere? Right. And if you
Yeah.
need more explosive, you probably lean towards Wilson. If not that Olave is not explosive, but Olave is more polished and can win with more tools in more places on the field. But it's razor thin. I don't think there is any clear consensus about, oh, Garrett Wilson is definitely better, or Chris Olave is way better. Like, they're really close. They're both really good. They are slightly different in their skill set. You're not going to be sorry with either one. They're both good players.
It reminds me like rookie year or back in 2013 when the Texans had Andre Johnson and DeAndre Hopkins. And it's like they win in different ways, but they both win. So, you can't really go wrong.
You'll never hear me saying bad things about Andre Johnson. And I love D-Hop. You know that. I love Nuke. He's awesome. But, boy, if there's an underappreciated wide receiver, that's the one. Like, that guy worked so hard, never really got anything for it, is largely underappreciated because of that, just because of the situation. But, like, you weren't beating that guy. In his prime, you weren't beating that guy.
No.
He's going to win everything.
J Will 501. As a Ravens fan, this game makes me miss JK and Gus even more. I'm telling you, man, if the Ravens stayed healthy, they'd be running away with this division.
Yeah, the JK thing is a stake in my heart. Like I had, if you listen to our divisional preview, I had big money on JK Dobbins just doing basically the Jonathan Taylor routine that's occurring in Indy right now. Like, that was my prediction for JK as a Raven this year. Like, I was like, no, that's it. They're going to figure it out. They already kind of figured it out at the end of last year. Like, he is going to be the sole guy. Like, Roman puts together a tremendous run game. Like, JK is going to be a star. He's going to be like Javonte Williams, Jonathan Taylor level star. And then he got hurt.
It's that was just, it was a heartbreaker. And then Gus got hurt like a couple days later. And, now you're running out fucking Devonta Freeman and, you had Le'Veon Bell come through. And this season is always going to be a what if season for Ravens fans.
Conklin just got another catch. I don't know if you need catches or yards from Conklin.
Yards.
No, it was like a 1 yard catch, but it was a catch.
Let me see. What was my slip for Conklin? Shit, I had it.
Why is the guy on the right so red? Mostly because he's Irish.
See, Conklin, I needed 41 yards, and he's got
that catch was like 1 yard.
He's got 20.
Yeah.
Yikes. Jefferson's still at 6 catches, though.
You are hanging on that thread.
Just keep running with Dalvin and throw screens to Conklin. That's what I need.
Yeah.
I'm not dead. I'm just dying.
Yet.
Bryson FFB for $2. Thoughts on Taysom Hill contract, Saints QB future? Bad contract.
Bad contract, bad future as a QB. Like, great as a versatile piece that you can do a lot of things with. If you're leaning on him as your QB1, it's a mistake. It's just ego driven and it's rough. Like, Peyton just feels like a prove it move. Like, I can turn this guy into a QB. Aha. And you're like, why bother? Like, there's better QBs out there, and you could use that guy to help your team in other ways. It's not that we don't like Taysom Hill. It's that as a QB1, like, he doesn't belong. It's not.
Jameis is better.
It's not a thing. So,
yeah.
And they paid him just unbelievable boatloads of money. It's ridiculous. So
TJ's got a groin injury. He's out officially. That sucks.
yeah, it's odd that I guess we're only 5 minutes into the third, but I'm like, nothing's really changed. Like,
No, that I feel like both teams just agreed to stop throwing it to Jefferson. Fuck. Stop
whoops.
throwing screens.
Oh, yeah. You're like, wait, touches are bad. Touches are bad. I don't care about yard. Touches are bad.
He's got like 4 catches on screens tonight. And I'm like, you assholes, throw it to somebody else.
Dude, come on. It's Justin Jefferson. Who else are you going to throw to?
Tyler Conklin. Is that so hard?
Maybe.
I just saw what the $20 donation was. Oh, Anvil C6 for $20. This is just to help you emotionally. LOL Texans.
That is the best.
You dick. I love you, but you dick.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's tremendous. Thanks a lot. We appreciate that.
Thank you. We appreciate it.
Man, they draw TJ Watt like the Hulk. I mean, I know he's ripped, but yikes, that little cartoon
thing.
Oh,
his arms are bigger than his head.
Yeah. A little exposition there on the cartoon drawing.
Just vibing for $5. Battle of teams who need to just rebuild already. Agree. Do you guys see Tomlin or Zimmer heading out? Oh, Tomlin's not going anywhere.
Tomlin's not going anywhere. Zimmer, maybe. Like, again, if they just decide that running it back is not going to get them anything different, then Zimmer, Tomlin's not going anywhere. Tomlin's
literally
he's
never
as entrenched as any coach in the league, except for maybe Harbaugh, Peyton, maybe. Like, that's it. Like,
Kirk just got crushed.
Yeah, and he threw a duck too. But there's a reason for that. He was getting hit. That duck he threw earlier was just completely.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there. But yeah, no, Tomlin will literally, he'll be there for 20 years. Like, he's not.
Okay. More adventures in kicking.
Kenny Pickett to the Steelers.
I saw that.
So there was an interesting point on Coward's show.
You're listening to Coward's show. All right.
On YouTube autoplay, for whatever reason, whenever I'm cooking, puts on Colin Cowherd, and I don't know why.
It's just to torment you because they know you have your hands full with hot stuff and can't change it.
All right, the tortellini was with me. But he was talking to Dave Wanstead, who coached at Pitt.
I would have turned that shit off immediately.
But Dave made an interesting point. I'm not saying you have to, but he made an interesting point that when he was at Pitt, the Rooney family, because they train in the same area, like the same facility.
True.
When he was there, he said the Rooney family was averse to drafting Pitt players because if they didn't work out, according to Dave Wanstead, they didn't want to create ill will in the community.
Yes, they're going to turn on the hometown boy. Well, I drafted Connor, and that worked out okay.
That's true, they did.
Yeah. So maybe they're turning, but they need a quarterback, and if you need a quarterback in this class and you've got a shot at Kenny Pickett, you could do a whole lot worse. That guy is well seasoned. He's not going to need a lot of run up as a rookie. He's a super senior. He grew a lot this year. He's one of those guys that showed tremendous improvement, even though he was good last year. We were looking forward to see him. He'd accepted his Senior Bowl invite last year and then decided to stay.
Which was a good decision, by the way.
Great decision. Like, that decision does not pay off all that often, and it absolutely paid off for him. So you could do a lot worse. Like, it would be easy to do a lot worse. And yeah, there's that tie between hometown boy, but like, they need a quarterback, and he's a good quarterback, and I'd be okay with that move. So
no, if in terms of quarterbacks in this class that you want to start a rebuild with, it's probably, oh man, how would you order Pickett, Corral, and Malik? It depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, I would say Pickett's probably the first, almost no matter what, unless your rebuild has a 3-year time frame, which almost none in the NFL do. That's a long time in the modern NFL.
Because like Malik, in terms of like physical traits and like personality traits, like work ethic, just being a good dude. He is like so fucking off the charts.
Yeah,
But
no, he's
in terms of like
amazing, but he's gonna need a year. Like he
development,
played at Liberty. Like I know he wasn't supposed to play at Liberty and that he was, from a much larger school, but like he's been playing against folks that play Liberty, right?
yeah.
And he's going to the NFL and there's gonna be an adjustment. He's got all the talent in the world. He can absolutely succeed. Corral's been playing SEC defenses, which is as close to the NFL as you're going to get in college. But like any rookie, he's going to need some adjustment. Pickett's going to need the least adjustment. I would say the physical ceiling on Malik is higher than either of the other two. Corral has better arm talent than Pickett, but that doesn't necessarily mean he's a better quarterback than Pickett. Those are two separate things.
Yeah, because like Mac Jones' arm isn't insane, but it's enough. But
But
he's
he's
also
a
a better
good
quarterback.
Yeah, he's a very good quarterback. And I feel similarly, now I don't want people to say, oh, EJ said Kenny Pickett is Mac Jones. He's not, but he has seen a lot, right? He's got a lot of snaps under his belt. So coming into a team that if they could add a little bit of offensive line and protect him so he wasn't on his ass every 3 throws, look, they have some weapons, right? They got Deontay, they got Chase Claypool, they got Najee, they got Freiermuth. Like you get a decent trigger puller and you're okay there, like as long as you can protect. And so I feel like they could probably do that. Ooh, Steelers, speaking of, right on cue.
There's pop
Big run. How much did we talk about Bills Pats? We didn't talk about Bills Pats a lot. We talked about it some, but not in 3-up.
I think it was 3 interesting, right? Towards the end of the show.
Yeah, it was more in the 3 interesting in the shift and maybe the Bill. We talked a little bit about the Bills game plan and how they didn't necessarily run Josh enough. And how Bill Belichick is a master of situational football, has been for a long time. That's not news to anybody. Oh, wow.
10 seconds behind you.
Rashad Breeland being tough, like which has been his MO since he got drafted. Like he is a big physical corner that will come after you, and he came after him and he got it.
Oh, nice pick.
Yeah, that's a ball
But
Deontay could have had.
Deontay Johnson made absolutely zero fucking effort.
Nah, he crocodile armed that thing pretty hard. Like that's a pick. That's a
no. Watch Deontay after the pick. He made zero effort.
Oh no, I'm not worried about that. Like again, just reach your hands out. There's no pick.
He just looked at him and like didn't try to tackle him.
I wonder if he's a little
blocked into infinity.
No, I wonder if he was hurt, because that would explain. Like maybe let's just say I have no info about Deontay Johnson. Let's just say he has a rib injury. Like that would keep you from extending to catch the ball, and it would also keep you from wanting to tackle somebody real hard after an interception when in a game when you're down, whatever, 30 points.
But if he's not hurt, that's
not going to be pretty film to go through in the wide receiver room,
because he just fucking stared at him, and then
he's not. You're not a quarterback, Deontay. You got to go after that guy.
Gonna lift up to get over this one. Niner guy for $10. Can you guys tell why so many fans and national guys think the Niners can get good value with Jimmy G? I just say, imagine if you were an owner and a GM and said, we're trading for Jimmy G. What's your reaction?
Depends on who I have. Yeah, depends on who you're going from. Like, honestly, and we just talked about him, but I'm going to say it. I don't think it's going to happen, but imagine Sean Payton gets Garoppolo.
He could make it work.
It would work. I feel like Garoppolo and Michael Thomas are like the mirror image of each other in a quarterback and a wide receiver, right? Jimmy G's going to throw stuff that Michael Thomas is going to catch. And again, it depends on your situation. If you're saying that Jimmy G is the sort of successor to Taysom Hill, like you might think that's awesome. If you're a fan base that's really hoping for the next big injection of quarterback talent and you get Jimmy G, I don't know, like Washington feels like a really interesting place for him to go, but I would feel like people were kind of sold. Yeah, they were sold on the upside of like, well, at least Fitzpatrick's going to whip it deep to McLaurin, and we're going to get to see that. Like, we know he's going to have the variance games where he throws up bad balls and they turn into interceptions. If you turn that into Jimmy G, it's like, oh, well, we know what our ceiling is. Like, yeah.
Like you bring in Jimmy G if your other option is like objectively fucking horrible. You know, like because like Jimmy G will at least stabilize you. Like
Yeah,
before
I
the
mean,
Niners got Jimmy G, their best option was the Iowa kid that they drafted, whose
yeah,
name is escaping me. So it's like their other options were like just not fucking good.
Bethard.
Bethard, like that was their best option, or Nick Mullins. So it's like, yeah, the Jimmy G trade made sense for them because they just needed a stabilizing presence. They won like 5 in a row at the end of that season, and went to the Super Bowl the next year. Not because of Jimmy, but because of the stability that he provided.
There's an interesting one in the chat. Jimmy G to the Steelers. It'd be better than what they have. Like, they could build an offense around that.
They're the kind of team that I would think would fit that description.
Yeah, he's got a running game. Look, you get, again, you need some offensive line no matter who comes in, but you bring Jimmy G in. He's got a tight end. We know he likes to work to the tight end. He's got good receiving options. They're going to have to go a little, they can't go as deep. Like, you're not going to be running Deontay or Chase Claypool deep on 9 routes all the time because that's not his game. But you put some crossing game in, some, basically West Coast timing stuff. Like, Jimmy can do that. Oh, wow.
What?
Well, wow, and 2 things. There's a penalty in the end zone, but the throw from Cousins was a rope.
Jimmy to Carolina would make sense too.
Oh, is that Minka? Yep.
Yes.
It's Minka to the shoulder, though. They're calling defenseless receiver? What's the call? I have the sound down.
I'm still waiting for the replay.
Oh, God. KJ is going to hurt so bad in the morning. Minka wrecked him.
It kind of looked like he didn't hit him in the helmet.
Oh, he didn't hit him in the helmet. He hit him right below the armpit. Like, oh, man, it's got to hurt
that's
so
not
bad.
That's not a hit on a defenseless receiver. That's not head or neck area. That's literally under the shoulder.
I understand that. I don't know what the call was, but Minka wrecked him. That's going to hurt bad.
Yeah, that's how you tear a labrum.
That's how you tear a lot of things. Oy.
That's a shit call.
It's not a great call. That one should have been overturned. Oh, guy's right there.
Yeah, that's a bad call.
He's on me. The ref just on me.
He said it.
On banning kickoffs. Why not at this point? Very few very interesting kickoff plays occur. Punts seems like the same or maybe a few more, but yeah. Cousins, yeah. Somebody said earlier Cousins is just off. Yeah, that he is. He's not. He's done some very un-Cousins things in this game.
I would not ban kickoffs personally. I feel like that takes a little bit too much out of the game. I'm not in favor of that. Like at high school level, maybe.
Yeah, but I bet you ban him 2 years later, you'd be like, I'm not missing anything. Like it's to the point now where, like, the way the rules are with kickoffs and what you can and can't do. Ooh.
But like I understand the whole the injury and everything. Like I'm not to the point where I just want it completely removed from the game.
Okay. You love Cam Sutton.
Why do I love Cam Sutton? He's been getting
because he kind of stood in front of Justin Jefferson and he didn't catch something, and you love that.
That's not Sutton. That's Witherspoon. Sutton's 20.
Oh, it's 25. Right. Anyways, you love Witherspoon.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm still at 6 catches for 67. And I'm hanging on for dear life.
You got a bunch left to go, though, but this game's dragging in the third quarter.
12 targets. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's insane.
25 continues sucking. I
I came in a bit late. Any discussion on the Joe Brady firing yet? That is Willis for $5. I think we've touched on it a little bit, sort of, but we haven't discussed it.
The timing was super odd.
It's a scapegoat firing.
Yeah,
Rule
the timing was
rule
really
is
news dumpy. Like there was never a more news dumpy firing in terms of timing.
it was the middle of the morning games on Sunday.
Uh-huh. Like, oh, by the way, we let our OC go. Let's play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a news dumpy timing. Like that is
And they
not
said
a,
they couldn't fire him on Saturday because he was unavailable. What does that mean?
well, honestly, after now this is non-football related, but for those that follow international relations, the Prime Minister of Finland, who is 30 something, by the way, couldn't receive the close contact COVID notification on her phone this week because she left it at home and was out clubbing until 4 a.m.
What? The prime minister goes clubbing?
Till 4 a.m. as a late 30-year-old and leaves her phone at home so she can't hear that, oh, one of her ministers has COVID and she was hanging out with her. So she probably shouldn't go clubbing. Like there's so much to unpack there. Like
that's a sentence that I don't even know where to begin.
I know. It's like, where do I start?
First of all, as a late 30 something, how do you have the energy to go clubbing till 4 a.m.?
That
I said at 8:30
on Twitter. As someone within 2 years of her, somebody on Twitter said, I'm just really impressed about the 4 a.m. thing. Like, forget the rest of it. Yeah.
I don't even get a full episode into SVU when I get in bed before I'm fucking out. I got my melatonin gummies that you got me addicted to.
Boom.
And I'm
sorry about that.
I'm gone. Drift off into the ether. Yeah, I got my LaCroix because of you.
Well, close enough.
My melatonin gummies in the bathroom because of you. I'm just slowly assimilating to your lifestyle.
As long as it's slowly, we're okay. Don't rush.
Yeah, I'm not ready to jump onto the IPA train though. So
that's okay. I'll get you. I'm not going to say that out loud. Anyways, I'll get you beers you like.
Things we cut out of the podcast that we can't cut out of live streams. Trevor for $5.
Eli. Wait a minute. Who's Eli? Is that you or me?
EGA. I mean,
yeah.
It's an amalgamation. What do you think of Joe Ortiz, director of player personnel for the Ravens, for Chicago GM? What about Greg Roman for head coach? Oh, okay. EJ would hate Greg Roman for head coach.
I got a real strong opinion on two. On one, honestly, I'm not the best person to ask about GMs. Like somebody coming out of the Ravens structure who worked for Ozzie, worked for Eric DaCosta, like it's pretty good qualification. I typically like Ravens drafts. So not going to rule that out or rule it in. Sounds like a fine person to interview. Let's go with that. Greg Roman. No. If you don't like what's currently occurring with Lamar, you're going to hate seeing that for Justin Fields. And it would be many of the same things. The Bears run fit would be exemplary. Like it would be so good. Like the Bears are already a better running team than they are a passing team. They look functional as a running team. They've run on some very good teams this year. They put up 124 yards on Tampa this year. Like they show some capacity to be a good run blocking and running team with their running backs. So Roman would be amazing for that because that's what he's amazing at. The pass stuff for the Ravens, if you look at it closely, is sloppy and gross. And do you want that for a guy like Justin Fields, who's one of his primary strengths is deep accuracy? And the answer is hell no. So Greg Roman, no.
Unless he's not calling the offense and he has a quote unquote passing game coordinator.
Break. Greg Roman's going to come to Chicago and he's going to go, oh, I guess I'll give the offense away.
Maybe,
I don't
like maybe
so.
Him and Joe
why
Brady
would you hire him? Like, do you really believe that Greg Roman is just like HC material and should be there? I actually like the idea that you and I have been kicking around.
Oh, Najee.
Which is the unknown guy in Green Bay. And I shouldn't say unknown because doesn't have a great resume. It's unknown because Matt LaFleur is, the guy that takes the headlines offensively in Green Bay in terms of calls. And ooh, is that a catch? I think that's a catch.
Do you see that third and short run from Najee? Just literally doing everything by himself.
Oh, this is a great catch. If this ends up a catch from Washington, this is a really good catch.
Oh, that's got to be a catch. Tie goes to the receiver,
right? But damn.
Ref called it a catch initially.
That's a catch.
It's going to be hard to overturn it.
That is a great catch. I'm all about that. So Horitz or Horitz, Hortiz. I think sorry, my bad. Hortiz. Maybe Roman, hard no from me. Like, I love Greg Roman. My favorite would be if Greg Roman would show up at the Bears as a run game coordinator. I would jump for joy. That would be so fun to watch. But he'd never do that.
But only run game coordinator.
Yeah, no, he'd be the run game. Whoa! What? Okay.
You're fucking mid-sentence reaction.
We're having fun now. Check this out.
All right, I'm getting to it. 2nd and 5. Ben's in the pistol. Oh, hello. They're just making it up. They're just making it up.
That's the mini golf play of the NFL. Off the quarterback, hits the running back, quarterback catches it, completes the ball to a wide open wide receiver. Like, just like you drew it up. Like, no, not at all. That's craziness. That's good fun.
Hey, whatever gets yards.
Wow. The penalty yardage in this game, 7 for 65 and 7 for 65.
It's Thursday, man. Thursday's always sloppy. When's the last time we got a good Thursday game?
I'm just saying, I haven't seen a game this year where the penalties and yards have been exactly even. That's crazy. Urban, you're my new favorite. You're just killing it. I love the explanation. That's amazing.
For $20, he says, first off, my $8.89 question was meant to round out to my $11.11 donation.
That's so good.
20. Appreciate that. Really, really do. Now, how do you weigh a system that depends on a player versus a player that succeeds because of the system?
I love this
question of the night.
This is so good. This question is amazing. And we can sum this up in what did Brett learn from Justin Herbert scouting is one side of this, right?
Yep.
And then the other is, I'm trying to think of a really good example right off.
Like the reaction when Mac Jones went to New England, where we're like, yes, that's a perfect system.
Well, kind of, but I'm actually thinking about like one of our favorites from the Senior Bowl, who I was texting with Mark Schofield about during that Pats Bills game. I said, can you imagine if Anthony Gordon was in this game?
Oh, the ball would go backwards.
Right. But Anthony Gordon got an invite to the Senior Bowl. He was drafted, right? I think, or was he UDFA and he got picked up? Either way, he ended up on an NFL roster. That's a guy that succeeded because of the system. Like Anthony Gordon at Wazoo succeeded because of the system. He's not great college quarterback. Nothing against Anthony Gordon. He had a very high level of success in college. He made it to the Senior Bowl, and rightfully so. But once he got there, it was very clear that that was not a skill set that was going to work in the NFL. But if you look at his numbers, you're like, oh, he's going to be productive. You look at his arm talent alone, you're like, he's not going to be productive in most systems. There are some systems where he could get some backup reps, but this is not a guy you want starting for your football team really ever. The flip side of that, also a quarterback, I wish I had a better non-quarterback example for you, at least on one side of the equation, is Justin Herbert, who, well, alternately at Oregon, they threw almost exclusively horizontally, very rarely let him go deep. And we've seen that even from LA this year, that they just sort of revert and throw him into the screen game. And the Chargers do terribly in those games. And then the next week, they're like, oh, let him off the chain, let him go deep. And his average depth of target goes to like 10 plus yards. And the Chargers roll because Herbert is an amazing downfield thrower. So you do have to balance it. It is very difficult. Kittle is another example.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kittle looked like a decent receiver, but he had all of like 9 catches in college. He blocked like his dad. Like, he was an amazing blocker in college. And then he went to the combine and blew the testing numbers off. And everybody went, whoa, this guy is an untapped athlete. Like, he is a tremendous high percentage. I forget what his RAS score was, but it was high in the
It was
9. Yeah, it was high
9.96,
in the
but he
9.
ran like 4.5, jumped like 36 inches.
And everybody was like, wait a minute, maybe there's a bunch of untapped passing potential in this guy. And we already know he's a ferocious run blocker. Like, maybe we could unlock that. That's an example of going, well, the guy didn't thrive because of the scheme, because Iowa just doesn't throw to their tight ends that much. They turn them out like crazy, but they don't tend to feature them. So it's always a little bit of tea leaves, crystal ball, whatever you want to say. And you have to guess, like, was it because he's really good and didn't get a chance? Because every player will say that. Oh man, if I was in a system where I was featured, I would have put up 1,000 yards.
Yeah.
I bet you would have. But with the step up to pro competition, that's a very difficult equation to run through. And it is a little bit about experience and how you've been burned before, how you've been successful before, places where you maybe thought, player couldn't succeed and then they did, and saying, I should modify my approach, my process to make account for that. But it's never going to be a perfect science. So I love the question. Thank you very much.
I would say there's very few systems that, quote unquote, depend on a player in order to function. And usually the systems that depend on one guy are like the offensive systems with a very, very, very veteran quarterback that has like complete command of everything. Like, you look at Aaron Rodgers operating Matt LaFleur's system, which is kind of in that Shanahan West Coast tree. And it looks different than a lot of the other offenses in that tree because they've incorporated a lot of the things that Aaron likes to do situationally. He'll see certain looks and he'll just give a little glance at Devontae or give a little glance at Cobb, and they'll run something completely different in that situation than what other offenses in that tree will run, because that's what Aaron has experience with. That's what he likes to do. And obviously they're a great offense because of that. You look at like the Broncos with Peyton, where he literally basically was the offensive coordinator on the field. You look at the Patriots back when Tom was there, and he was the system. And it wasn't until the Bucs kind of incorporated a lot more of what Tom likes to do that their offense really took. Oh, Jesus, that was a bad pick. Not necessarily Kirk's fault, but it was just unfortunate.
But
just
boy,
unfortunate.
Witherspoon goes from GOAT to like instant hero, and it's not even really him. Like, Deion Bush did tip it, but just enough. Well, your Jefferson pick survives by the thinnest of threads.
We're alive. We're alive.
That is the thinnest of threads.
But yeah, back to my answer. There's very few systems that I think like depend entirely on one guy. And it's usually when there's like a very veteran quarterback that has like complete command of the line of scrimmage that is going to run that system differently than other quarterbacks would. Like, when Jordan Love is at the line of scrimmage in that Matt LaFleur offense, it looks a lot different than when Aaron is there, because Aaron has more answers in his head and he has a better chemistry with the guys on the field, his skill position players, that he just can do stuff that Jordan can't do. So, a great question. Love that question. In terms of a player that succeeds because of the system, look at Nick Foles back in 2017, back when RPOs, like glance RPOs, were all the rage, and NFL defenses hadn't caught up yet of how to handle it because they hadn't gone down to the Big 12 and figured it out yet. You look at that year where Nick Foles thrived because of those RPOs versus the Nick Foles after that year when defenses figured it out, and is two very different results. So I would say Nick Foles was a guy that succeeded because of that system and what Frank Reich was able to do for him that year. And I say Frank Reich and not Doug Peterson.
Yeah. We've gotten to the period of this game where there are a lot of questionable throws.
I don't necessarily think Kirk has played poorly, regardless of the box score right now. Because, like, you look at, what is it, 11 for 25, 125 yards, a TD, and a pick. He's had a couple flutter balls that I'm not really sure what the reason
he's
behind
off
that is.
tonight.
But
There's something going on. I would not be surprised if he came out and said, something that you were talking about earlier. Maybe he got hit on the elbow, something with his throwing shoulder. Like he's throwing some very non-Kirk Cousins balls tonight. So
yeah, it's weird. I don't
Ooh.
necessarily think it's like his worst game. I think it's just kind of it's Thursday, dude. Weird shit happens on Thursdays.
Yeah, it's kind of like Pac-12 after dark, right? It's just you end up getting all these. If you sleep through Pac-12 after dark, you wake up and there's a whole tweet stream about like, oh my god, and you're like, I missed it again. Oh, all right.
Goat.
I love that one. I starred that one. That's fantastic. There's a Treylon Burks question coming up too, which you'll love to answer because I know you just watched him.
Thoughts on Michigan's CFP chances in the future? Well, they're going to be playing against a pissed off Georgia team in the first round.
Yeah,
which
despite their victory versus Ohio State, Georgia's a whole different animal.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because Stetson Bennett like really holds Georgia back. But that defense is just so fucking loaded.
Their defense has 11 players that are going to get drafted.
And they don't have the same offensive talent that Alabama has. Like, they don't have a Jamison Williams. They don't have a Heisman frontrunner quarterback. They don't have Evan Neal at left tackle. Like, they just don't have the same guys offensively. Like, they have a good offense. Like, they can run the shit out of the ball, but they don't necessarily have that vertical can opener element that Alabama has that really paid off. Like, Jamison Williams with that double move and split in the double team. They can't do that. So,
all right, I'm going to grab some water. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So Michigan has a shot, but it's going to be a hard game. Like Aiden and fuck, I can't remember the name of the other edge's name, who's got like 10 sacks himself. They both need to go ham. It's going to be a defensive game, or rather, it needs to be a defensive game. They're blowing the lead. I don't know, man. 29-7. That's tough to come back from with Ben at quarterback. It's tough. They got a full quarter to score 22 points. Thoughts on Treylon Burks as the wide receiver one of the 2022 class? If not, who are your favorites? I don't know who my favorite is. Like, early favorite would probably be Drake London because I've watched him the most, but I am so far away from having like an order or a tier list or anything like that because I just haven't dug in. I've watched one Treylon Burks game and charted it, and it was against Texas. Like, I just got a hold of the Ole Miss game. I'm going to try to get the Alabama game, which is Bama defense. Usually it's pretty easy to find. If I can get like 4 games on all these guys, I can have a better idea of who like my wide receiver one is. All I know about Treylon right now is he's a fucking freak. Like freak athletically. He does not move at that size like he's supposed to, which gives him an advantage over 99% of human beings on the planet. His route tree is very different than a lot of the other guys that are in this class. It's a lot of, behind the line of scrimmage stuff. Like they honestly use them a lot like Colorado used Laviska when Laviska was coming out. And, Cordero Patterson at Tennessee, where it's, sometimes he's a receiver and sometimes he's basically a glorified running back. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's a different usage, and it makes it a little bit harder to project full skill set than, say, like a Drake London who just plays receiver. And you see all the routes and you see releases against press and all that kind of, like, you just see more with London. So it's not saying that Burks can't do it, but it's more so just the offense that he's in. They don't showcase it. So it's tougher to project. But what I do know is that he's an absolute freak of nature, and that gives him a good chance. Jahan Dotson, super quick, moves exceptionally smooth. He and Olave, I think, are kind of like in the same build. Just really, really, really smooth. Not the biggest dudes in the world, but just very, very hard to cover if you give them space. Wilson's kind of like the prototypical size, speed, shiftiness, that kind of thing, as well as also being polished as a route runner. Like Wilson's probably the most like prototypical X receiver. Who else is in this class? Jameson Williams, again, incredible speed, underrated route runner. Like he's got a shot to run sub 4.3, I would say. A lot of good receivers. I haven't got to most of them yet, but that's going to be a project for future Brett down the line. YOLO Swaggins for $5. Welcome back. Oh, Ben. Oh, how do you drop that? Deontay, 2 drops in the end zone. Fuck. Ooh, that's rough. Have either of you guys done any work on the corners in this draft? Other than Stingley, no, I have not. I am so not knowledgeable on the corners yet. I just want somebody to get Eli Apple off the field for Cincy. Don't we all? Yeah, corner is usually one of the last positions I get to because that one really requires all 22. And I don't have enough all 22 yet to really dig into corners or safeties. Like at least like linemen, I can use the broadcast and like get a general idea because they're on the screen. But corners and safeties, I literally can't get to until I get all 22. And that might not be till January when I get it. I'm sure EJ would say the same thing.
Corners and safeties. What's that?
Is that a Slim Jim?
No, it's way better. Made by a company called Field Trip. And this is a maple barbecue pork stick, and they're fantastic.
Oh.
Anyways, corners and safeties, really difficult. TV angle has gone really tight in CFB, and corners go off the screen almost immediately. You might get to see them try and hold a release. You're not going to get any of the middle footwork. And if it's a deep route, you're not going to get anything until right at the catch point. And so if you're trying to sort of judge a body of work, judge fluidity, hip turn, foot quickness, hand usage, you're going to miss 80% of it. So it's tough with corners and safeties. Not great on the TV angle. Slot corners, a little bit better, but boundary corners,
What the fuck?
What?
There's no way.
I mean, anything's possible, but I sure hope not. That'd be awful.
I'm trying to find information on it.
Conflict says it's a bold move munching on a meat stick. It's a less bold move than passing out because you're hungry because you didn't really eat super well today.
Okay, I'm gonna look for an update on DT later. I really hope he hasn't passed away. That would be absolutely tragic. Yeah. I'm hoping that's not true. I'm hoping it's just Twitter bullshit. That would be awful.
Yeah.
All right.
Somebody says CBS broadcasts have good wide angles. Some. It varies widely between network and between conference. Some of the lower conferences have much wider angles, which is really kind of cool, actually. But for some reason, everybody has decided that the really high-profile games between SEC teams and everything else, that the angle needs to be tight, like that's somehow more dramatic. And Florida was the one a couple of years ago. Everything was like tackle box only. You couldn't even see the corner at the snap. It was ridiculous.
Oh, Jabo. That's who I was thinking of. Thank you, chat. I was trying to think of the name of the other Michigan edge that has like 10 sacks. And I was like, fuck. I had like Brian Arakpo in my head. And I was like, wait, no, he's Texas. Shit.
There's so many O's now. Like I was just reading Jordan Rodriguez's piece about Leonard Floyd, and they were talking Orowanko, the Oklahoma guy, who's their edge. There's so many edge rushers start with O now. It's
Jason O or Odafe Owe.
Odafe Owe. Obonio. All the guys.
Harrison Len for $5. Burrow leads the league in INTs. Not all of them have been his fault. Case in point, this past week when Jamar Chase literally tipped the ball into a defender. How concerned should us Bengals fans be? You should not be. He will be fine. I guarantee you he will be fine. Just like Chiefs fans weren't panicking when Mahomes was throwing a bunch of picks in the beginning of the year, and then they
weren't.
settled down. And well, the sane ones weren't panicking. There were some that were like, "We're going to be bad. The contract was a mistake," and it's you're going to be fine. Stop. So no, Bengals fans, you're okay.
Oh, the DT thing is fake. Relax. I sure hope that's true. That'd be awesome.
I hope it is too.
Oh, by the way, Okereke.
Yeah, it's not Okereke.
Yeah.
Because there was some confusion because he prefers the actual pronunciation to be Okereke, which is what it's supposed to be. But on like the Sunday Night Football thing, when you like say your own name or whatever, he was still saying Okereke. It's because they recorded it in the off season before he, decided to go with like the proper pronunciation. So that's that. But it is Okereke.
Yeah, as if it wasn't hard enough to keep up. Then you get the switches.
Yeah, kind of like it was Jason Owa in Penn State, and then he got to the NFL, and he's like, "No, fuck you guys. My name's Odafe. Call me Odafe." We're like, "Okay, you're Odafe,"
and that's
perfectly fine.
People being called whatever they want to be called, but it's an occupational hazard with somewhere between 150 and 300 names that you need to be familiar with in every given year, and it recycles every year, and then a handful of them decide to change names, last names included, like, oh no, I'm gonna go with my mom's hyphenated name now, not my dad's name because my mom raised me or whatever it is, right? And you're like, oh, okay, wasn't his name like Hunting and now it's like Smith Osweiler? And you're like, okay, all right, yeah, same guy, okay, cool, whatever. Like, make a note, try and get your brain to adjust.
Dude, the worst was this like August where people were changing jersey numbers like 3 times.
The jersey change thing, I don't care so much about the end result. Like, there was a lot of fire around Twitter and elsewhere about, we were just talking about Melvin Ingram, and you were like 24, whatever he's wearing is an assault to edge rushers everywhere. But no, it was just having gotten a fair amount of tape. Oh, he missed another one. You are hanging by a thread, man. He's had like 3 balls in his hands that he's dropped.
Heyo.
Yeah, keep it up.
Yeah, he's got 14 targets, 6 catches.
That's this one. Like, it's behind him, and he did.
Kirk's trying to get him killed. Fuck, stop throwing him into safeties. He's going to get a concussion.
No, Minka's crushing that under armpit rib area. Like, that is so uncomfortable to get full force right there. That's nasty.
Stop trying to get your receivers killed, dude. Oh, wake up.
The Vikings are choking. What's new?
I don't know. 15 points in, it's possible.
In 15 minutes, basically.
Yeah, it's possible. Jordan. Sauce is CB1, McCurry CB2, Stingley CB3, Booth is CB4. I've only watched one of them, so I cannot agree or disagree. Well, I've watched 2 games of Sauce, and I like Sauce a lot. I'll say that. I'm actually really looking forward to the playoffs because you're going to get Jameson Williams for Sauce, which should be pretty fun.
For sure.
But I haven't done, like, Stingley, I've watched like 5 games. So it's like, I know what Stingley is. He's good. Sauce, I've watched 2 games where it's like, I think he's good, but we'll see. Elam is CB5. Is Elam related to Matt Elam? Because I think he's
looked him up, and I can't remember what I found out, but I do that every year. I'm like, wait, that's a name I recognize because I've been doing this. I mean, been doing draft stuff for 10 plus years at this point. But I've been watching football for a lot longer than that. And I'm like, wait, is he related to blank? Is that his, yeah.
Jalen Waddle. Waddle is pronounced like Adele. Oh, that's good.
But can he sing?
Y'all watching the game? We are. Unfortunately, I'll have to.
So much as it is a game,
I'll have to negotiate with Amazon next year to like actually get the game on stream. But
yes,
that's off-season projects. I might have to do it on Twitch, but
they're putting Michael Strahan in space, so If you don't know if you saw that on the pregame, Strahan was supposed to go up. They're supposed to launch like yesterday. And they're now put off to like Saturday. So, oh yeah, guess who just wandered by the pregame set? Oh, look, it's Jeff Bezos because he's hanging out here for lunch. And by the way, this football game's on his channel. Like weird.
Funny how that works.
It's so strange. And I'm like, so yeah, let's negotiate with Amazon and get the
Why is Michael
game on
Strahan
screen.
going to space?
Because Bezos picked him.
Okay. Billionaires are fucking weird, man.
Yeah, Terry asked him, so why'd you pick Michael? You pick anybody on the planet. Bezos was flipping Terry shit. He goes, oh, we were looking for, we went on good looks.
Oh, man. Chiefs 24 is Brandon Flowers to me. You're wrong. It's Melvin Ingram, apparently, for some reason. Because an edge rusher needs to be 24 now.
Dude, there's an edge rusher. I want to say, I think it's UVA, and he's 88.
Yeah, and he's like a defensive lineman.
And it drives me bananas because I'm like, what is a tight end doing rushing the passer? Like, it's crazy. Oh, man.
Yeah. No, Brandon Flowers, one of my favorite Chiefs.
The Steelers not giving Najee a lot of help in blocking tonight. He's had a lot of looks where he gets to an edge and there's just two guys waiting for him.
Gentlemen, may we talk about the death of the fullback?
Okay.
That's slanderous to Shanahan.
Yeah. If your icon was Schrader, like in a flight suit in an F-14 Tomcat, I would bow down. That would be the greatest thing ever.
I don't think the fullback's dead. I just don't think that there's very many teams that know how to use them properly.
Bears signed a fullback this week. Oh,
and I'll tell you what, with all of these teams playing too high with really light, linebackers and everything like that, the rebirth of the two-back offense is going to be a thing. Guarantee it. Because it's hard to deal with some of those.
Deontay.
Oh, did he decide to actually catch the ball?
Heck yeah.
Oh, that one he catches. Okay.
Yeah. Degree of difficulty, 10. Go for it. Okay, I got it.
Jeez. Why does he only catch the hard ones? I don't understand.
Bench Mason will lead us to glory. So the Bears actually signed a fullback this week, and it's Ben Mason.
I didn't realize he was still floating around.
Yeah, well, apparently he was quote-unquote available, so the Bears signed him this week. I would love to see Matt Nagy be like, well, we're a running team, so we're going to run power I. Oh, let's go.
Are the Vikings blowing this?
Yes. James Washington is having a game.
Let's see how they fuck this up.
I like James Washington when he was coming out. I thought he was a very tough wide receiver with good potential to be a wide receiver 3 or maybe 4, depending on the team.
Oh, no.
Yes, safety turned the wrong way.
Oh, no. Vikings.
Who's 23? Is that Bynum?
Oh, God.
Who's 23 on the Vikes? Now I gotta look it up. I'm sure Chad will beat me there, but oh, it's Xavier Woods. Yeah. 2 points not going to work out for him, though. Yikes.
Oh, okay. So
fullback. I don't know. Every year that somebody goes, oh, with all the spread, with all the light boxes, whatever, somebody's going to go big and run them over with a fullback. And I'm like, yeah, you mean like the Patriots? Like they do, like they did in Buffalo, like they do. I mean, their fullback's what, 250?
And got the neck roll going and everything.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
aesthetically,
I'm like,
perfect.
oh, so you mean like Belichick, right? Because he's been doing that to teams for years. He doesn't do it every week. Like if he goes up against a heavy run defense, he won't play fullback very much, and then they go spread wide.
Oh, so
he's just hit me with a club. Not doing it.
Bob's been losing his mind in chat all night.
Yeah, we love you too much. We're not hitting you in the head with anything, but the game will do it for us. Like it's ugly.
I can't.
Well,
Somebody check on Trey's stream. I need to see. I need to see how drunk he is.
Yeah, he's what, probably 4 beers in by this point, at least.
At amateur numbers.
Yeah. Gotta up those amateur numbers. Those are numbers that I couldn't hit. So
the go for fullback is 300.
There you go. They're out there.
That's a proper Big Ten fullback. Just an extra offensive lineman with a running start.
Yeah, it's like, wait, oh, you're not good at defensive end? Hey, have you ever played fullback?
Oh, God.
Yeah.
If we lose this, I'm buying the hardest liquor I can and chugging it. Well, can I interest you in some 110 proof Sagamore rye, sir?
Oh.
Also known as flavored fire.
Also known as Under Armour water.
It's fucking good, though. Not going to lie. One of the better ryes out there.
Did a number on the pod.
Hey, we cut it out. It's okay. It's okay. That's what editing is for.
Yeah, most of the takes ended up on the floor.
That's why I do streams sober, because I enjoy having a career.
You can't cut it. Oh, man.
I enjoy being able to pay my bills.
Yes. Vita Vea at fullback. Yep.
Oh, we've seen it. And it worked. Do you remember Dontari Poe at fullback? All-timer.
They showed his interception during the Chiefs game. I was like, oh, yeah.
An entire fucking demographic of your fan base is going to be dead after tonight. Hey, I think the over hit.
Did it?
I think we're in business.
Dude,
let's fucking go.
You're crazy in business because Justin Jefferson can't catch the last 7 balls thrown his way.
Hold on. Let's fucking
20 to 29, 49.
I need to do a check on this.
I thought you said it was 44.
Hold on. I need to get the banners off.
Yeah. And the frame.
With fucking, there we go. Okay, so KJ Osborne, 49.5. He's got.
Gotta hit the refresh.
Okay, let's see what we're at. He's at 21. Conklin's at 20, so neither of them have hit. Frymouth is at 17. He hasn't hit.
Wow. Dude, this is ridiculous. The Steelers have been beating them up. Passing yards this half. The Vikings have 1. Oh, well, here come the rushing yards.
Najee is 3. So literally none of them have hit. And we're in the 4th quarter. I'm hanging on for dear life on the Jefferson prop, which unfortunately now that they have to throw,
what
probably
was
going to
Cook's
lose.
Injury?
Shoulder.
Right?
Yes.
Oh, no.
Did he just get hurt again?
He just tried to stiff arm a guy, and it looked awkward as all get out.
Or maybe it was left. I honestly can't remember what shoulder it was.
He's still in the game. He's running. I mean, he's tough as hell anyways. Maybe the Toradol's still working, but no, he tried to push a guy off with his right arm, and it just looked bad.
Got tackled by the hair. So I'm still alive on this, but
only because the game hasn't ended.
It's not by a lot.
Yeah. I'm amazed. I'm stunned actually that the Jefferson thing hasn't already come due because they've thrown him so many passes. PA going deep.
Yeah, but they've been hospital balls.
Oh man, never say it's not entertaining.
I'm sure Tree's just like, Steelers gone to Super Bowl. All right, let's see this. All right, Kurt going deep. Oh, no. Oh, is that Osborne?
Yep.
It's Osborne! Let's go! All right, we hit one. 1 for 5. And it wasn't Jefferson. God.
Sutton is having the worst night.
Oh, he's gotten torn. He's probably given up 150 yards just by himself.
Wow. Rugged. They've played so poorly, but man, I will say this, and I've said it before. There is no one better at ball handling at the quarterback position in the NFL than Kirk Cousins.
He is pretty sick with it.
His ball handling is so good. He gets 2, 3, 4
Josh Allen
a week.
underrated with it too. His ball fakes are really good. They just don't run the ball, so he doesn't
Yeah,
get to do it a lot.
no, Kirk got in the Lions game. There were a couple of totally free play action boots where everybody was like, "Oh," and they all bit, and he literally wandered out to an empty side because everybody thought he'd handed the ball off.
Oh, how do you misjudge a ball that badly? Fuck. Cut Sutton tomorrow.
Yeah,
Sure
who are
he's
they
going
going to
ape
play?
shit. I bet he was.
The whole reason he's playing is because they don't have anybody else. Like that's
Yeah.
the whole reason.
Wait, the Demaryius Thomas thing is true?
I've seen true, not true. I'm just going to hold off on that, and we'll see.
There's no way. I need to see somebody reputable.
Oh, short round. Great comment.
Let's see if I can find something. Perna says it's real.
Oh, that's not good news. He's a Broncos fan. That's
fuck yeah, it's true.
That's terrible news. Like that's
it's only car accident, I think, right? Fuck. I don't even know what to say.
No, that's that's not awesome.
He's only 33.
Yeah, he didn't quit playing that long ago.
That's just
rugged. It's a gut punch. Period.
It's an absolute gut. He's such a good guy. Like, was one of the heart and souls of Broncos country for so long. Like, that's fucking awful.
Yeah.
Feels so bad for his family.
Gone way too soon.
I'm not even gonna put out I don't even know what to say.
No.
Like what, who cares what I think about it? Well, who cares what I think about it? I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
That's
that is downer and more important than anything going on here for sure.
Yeah. Wow. That's just terrible.
Listening from Montreal, do you guys know some French words? Just for the lull. Yeah, we know a few. We did a cheese draft on Bears Over Beers last night because we didn't want to talk about the Packers game. So I said some French words then. You think I'm kidding?
You drink enough, and I'm sure you could speak whatever language you want. Not
no,
but you could.
I thought you didn't think the cheese draft was real. The cheese draft was totally real.
On a Bears podcast, that sounds very on brand.
Well, JB
on
said,
Packers
I don't want to talk about the game that much. What are we going to talk about for the rest of it? And I joked, we're going to talk about cheese. And it was in jest. And he was like, cheese draft? Oh, we're doing it. And I was like, oh, okay.
Well,
so we made a cheese draft.
What pick was Manchego? You better have drafted Manchego.
It was like 6th. He did. I didn't.
Too low. That's a first rounder.
Okay.
You're fucking wrong. I'm sorry.
He didn't draft Manchego. I don't know that we had Manchego on the list. He drafted Marshall so he could have dessert.
That's the James Robinson of your draft. That's the UDFA star. That's the Arian Foster.
Okay. The cool thing about cheese draft is you could draft it 10 times and come up with completely different answers and be right every time.
Was cottage cheese on there?
I did not put cottage cheese on. We had a flex category, which was super fun. It was kind of like fantasy football. We had hard cheeses, soft cheeses, and then you had to pick a flex. And the flex category was like spray cheese, cheese whiz, 7-Eleven nacho cheese sauce,
stuff that's like not actual cheese, just
cheese
adjacent.
I threw queso on there because it's not like a cheese. It's a cheese dip. I put beer cheese dip on the flex category. We put some ringers in there. Queso was my flex.
Oh, queso, yeah.
Yeah, queso was my flex. I'm probably gonna win just because of that. So
don't knock it till you try it. But Cool Ranch Doritos and cottage cheese.
I remember you telling me about that.
People always think I'm crazy, but I'm telling you it's good. I'm telling you it's good.
I say you're crazy, but not because of that.
There we go. Listening. There we go. For $5 Canadian, which I have no idea what that converts to in American. Are dollars more or less valuable? I don't actually know.
They are typically slightly more valuable. You're going to get 1 point something for the Canadian dollar, but there was a point about 4 or 5 years ago where they evened out, and it was terrible because I was used to going up to I would go up to Canada to write, and we would make terrible jokes with our Canadian. We had friends that owned a restaurant, and we would give them horrible crap every time we paid the bill. It'd be like a $45 bill, and we'd hand them like a $20 US and be like, "Keep it in school." They loved hated us for that. But that was my buddy that would come down for the Seahawks game. He was a huge Seahawks fan, and they would organize a bus to come down once a year from BC and go to a Seahawks game. And those guys were fun to hang out with. They were fun to hang out with up there. They were really fun to hang out with in Seattle. I would go up and meet up with them in Seattle, and those were. Oh, great question.
Queso Blanco or just queso? That is an actual.
Oh, for sure.
That is a key cog here.
We weren't that specific. We had lots of cheeses that are like cheese categories, like cheddar. I did make a distinction between sharp and mild because those are two different animals. But you could sub-segment most of the cheese listings we had on there several ways. Like JB picked Swiss. Oh, Cousins with rushing yards.
Dalvin just hit 200.
Yeah, well, he's one.
Oh, fuck. Did I forget to play him? Oh, no.
Oh, did you?
Did I forget to set my fucking lineup because I started the stream? Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Fuck.
That's the fail.
Hold on.
That's the fail of the night. Where did goat cheese end up? Goat cheese was on our list, but nobody picked it. I mean, we had like 20 cheeses, and we both got 5 picks on the flex.
Fuck!
Oh, tisk. Now, see, as we were talking about Underdog, I would be like, well, if you're playing best ball, it wouldn't matter. You're getting the points anyways. But apparently...
Boy, I hope Eli Mitchell gets 32.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, my
Brett is impeccably bad at gambling. That's not the only thing he's terrible at, but yeah, he has his moments. I've seen both ends of the spectrum, to be fair. I've seen Brett Coleman hit the immense parlay in Vegas, and I've seen Brett Coleman leave Dalvin Cook on the bench for 200. So,
200 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Oh, my fuck. Is that not the most fucking on-brand
it is
moment of my life?
Maybe not the most, but it's real close. Anyways, he just got more yards. Hate to tell you. Sorry. Hi, Brett. I started Madison betting that Cook would be out early. And he has a receiving one too. Yes. Oh, yes, he does. You are on to thinking about other things, because that is not going to go well for you.
I am a quote unquote fantasy expert.
I have heard that. Do tell.
You ever have like a moment? You ever have a moment in your job where you're just like, wow, I'm an idiot. People pay me for services and goods.
It's amazing. Oh, Kirk Cousins just had that moment.
Oh my God.
Kirk Cousins is having the Kirk Cousins game. This is why being a Vikings fan is probably the most maddening experience on the planet. They should be wiping the floor with a very depleted Steelers team.
Up 16 with 5 minutes to go, and it still doesn't feel over.
Watch this.
Oh, no. Is that a pick 6 too?
It's not a 6, but it's a really bad pick.
Jeez.
That's his second miscommunication with Osborne about stopping a route. Oh, and they didn't call the face mask. It was after the throw. Good non-call, but yikes.
What's hilarious is like I told everybody in like my pregame like start sit questionnaire, I said start Cook. And I'm the fucking asshole that forgets to start Cook. Oh my God.
You will be sad about that.
Can't believe it. Schroeder Iceman. Love it. Love it. $5. Again, thank you, sir. If you were a coach and you could only run zone or man for your whole 25-year career, what would you pick? I would say zone because
It's
the
easier to
nature
get
of
players
zone
that can do
blocking.
it.
Yes, that. But also the nature of zone is that even if you lose front side on your block, that means that there's probably going to be a cutback lane. And so it's a little bit more forgiving for an offensive line.
What was your thing on Fryermuth, yards or catches?
Yards. I need 35 yards total. He's got 17.
I think you got it, and a touchdown.
That might get me to
It's close. If not,
I might be like 3
close.
yards short. I think I'm going to be 3 yards short.
Oh yeah,
So I
it
need
was
like
tight.
one more
No, it was
catch.
a tighter line of scrimmage than I thought it was. I thought they were a little farther out, but hey,
But I'm really close.
Fryermuth stands are gonna get the touchdown. Do your yards on 2-point conversions count?
But it doesn't even matter because Najee, I need 30 receiving yards and he's got 3, and I don't think I'm going to get that one. So it's like even if Jefferson doesn't catch anything else, Conklin needs 20 and Najee needs 30, and it's a lot that needs to happen in 4 minutes. And I don't know if I'm going to get it.
I don't think so. But the Vikings on the sideline are what is happening? How is this game not over? Like over.
If you're a Deontay Johnson manager, though, you're pretty happy.
Fryermuth manager just got a lot happier. They picked up an extra 6.
Witherspoon heard you guys calling him a bum. Well, I mean, he has given up like 100 yards tonight, so there's that.
Yeah. Please give me relief. I will donate my entire life savings if you just end it. Being a Vikings fan is a rough business. It really is.
Oh, Tony. I've never seen so many Vikings fans.
This is
angry.
bad, and it's not atypical. That's the problem. Is like the Vikings do this. They play down and play up. Right? They'll play the Packers tough. They'll beat the Packers, and then they go play the Steelers, who are definitely not the Packers. And yeah, I mean they're leading, but we got 4 minutes and 14 seconds, and Cousins just threw a terrible pick on the last drive. Like, you feel good about this as a Vikings fan right now? Like, you feel secure? You just going to bed, turning it off, being like, nah, they got it. Like, really? Okay.
Vikings never got it.
No.
They just survive.
Yeah. Oh. Ouch. Is all I got to say about this. Like, run the freaking ball.
I almost want the Vikings to win now, just so that Vikings fans have something to.
But now Tomlin knows. Now Tomlin's like, now Zimmer's gonna get hyper conservative because they threw a bad pick and he loves running the ball. Dalvin's got 1 million yards. Guess what? Put 13 men in the box. I don't care about the penalty. They're gonna run it.
Look at they're in 22 personnel. They're just
I mean, it's not even like a creative run. It's just we needed to run. So hope is a rare element in the land of Minnesota. Yes.
Well, loss of 2 on first down.
Oh, and that's Osborne again. Your Jefferson thing that is a spider web in the wind.
Watch, I'll be correct on Jefferson, but everything else will fail.
Yeah.
That's how it goes for me.
Feel like death going to be. Good night, friends. Autumn, thanks for hanging out. Sorry you feel like garbage. Oh, wow. Terrible hold. Did they call it?
Have a good night, Autumn. We'll see you next stream.
The Steelers fans. How can Steelers fans still have a hope in the stands in Minnesota? But yet, here we are. Brett and EJ, please.
So Schroeder, if I don't know if you're in Minneapolis, but I was connecting through Minneapolis this week coming back from Charlotte because for whatever reason that's just where Delta goes from Charlotte to LA. I
Uh-oh.
stepped off the plane and just like the little sliver of outside air between the jetway and the plane hit me, and it was fucking 9 degrees. And I immediately resolved to never go back to the state of Minnesota, at least between the months of October and March. I will go in the summer, but that was a level of cold I didn't even think was possible.
Yeah.
My skin hurt touching it for 5 seconds. Oh, there's Jefferson's 7th catch.
Yeah, Jefferson just got 7, and they ran empty. The last play was run from empty, the most non-Vikings thing ever. Oh, and they got him singled. It's man, throw it.
What is this team? Oh, Vikings fans.
Cook with a big seam ball. What is this team? It's not even deep winter. Yeah, he has no idea what real cold is.
I know it's the
Southern
first week of
California.
December and it was 9.
He's Southern California through and through. He has no idea.
I took pictures of the lakes coming in. Oh my God, Dalvin just got rocked.
Yeah, but he caught it.
Toradol's a hell of a drug, ain't it?
It's scary stuff having had some.
Where you just feel nothing. You feel like a superhero.
Well, no, it was when I broke my back, and maybe not even 10 minutes after they gave it to me, I felt fine, and I knew my back was broken. And I was like, this is the x-ray tech came in. He was like, can you walk? And I was like, yeah, I can. And that's the problem. Like, this is like, I feel great. Like if I knew I hadn't screwed myself up, if I hadn't spent the last, 2.5 hours writhing in pain,
like, yeah, you'd go back on the track.
I would leave, right? I'd walk out of here and be like, no, I'm fixed. I'm good. Like it's dangerous stuff.
It's mountain biking is how you heard it, right?
Correct.
Or was it road biking?
No, it was mountain biking.
Do you do more road biking or mountain biking?
Mountain biking. I don't do much of either now. I need to get back into both. But no, I enjoy road biking, but there's so few places where you don't have to worry about getting completely wiped out by a car. And bottom line is, it doesn't matter if you're right or wrong on the road. If you get hit by a car while you're on a bike, you're probably going to die. So I'll go for the trees that are stationary. I hit plenty of those. So just less variable.
Damn, Brett, kind of a pussy when it comes to cold. I counter with this.
Not kind of.
You try going to California and watch the people from Minnesota when they experience their first earthquake. It's fucking hilarious. Like they think it's some sort of like biblical retribution from God himself. And we're just sitting there and we're just going like, what? It's a 4-5. This is nothing. You're good. You're good. And they are like on the ground crying. Oh my God. Midwesterners in their first earthquake is like my heroin. I love it.
Oh my God. But he's a serious softie when it comes to cold.
Yeah, I'm from California.
I know.
It's 51 and I'm in like a LL Bean jacket.
Yeah. He's all bundled up. It's 51. Oh man. He's like, it cracked 60 the other day. And I was all like in sweats, and I was like, man, it was 60 here the other day. I was driving around, my windows down. I was like, this is nice.
I busted out the winter sheets once it got below 60. I was like, sure. I need the soft, like fluffy sheets. Born and raised in Minnesota, my man. I'm in college, and I've already conceded that this team will never do anything. By the way, I love training with no shirt below 0. If that's not the most Minnesota thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, you can tell the guys in the NFL games. Like there was a guy out short sleeve, or no, not even no sleeves, muscle shirt and shorts warming up before the Buffalo game, which was an absolute gale, like so cold. And he was like, yeah, I'm gonna show him. I'm like, yeah, frostbite will do that.
Oh man, they didn't get the 3rd and 8. Oh, flag? Are they calling? They're not calling roughing the passer, are they?
Probably. Roughing the passer has been the worst penalty. Oh, KJ, how can you stem that like that?
Yeah, that was not a great route. Oh, you can't call that on Minka. There's no way you can call that a hold. There's no way that's a hold.
That was a terrible route and a worse call. Like, yikes.
Fuck off. That is not a hold.
Vikings have to punt before the 2-minute warning. They got the ball back with 4 minutes, 14 seconds. They have to punt before the 2-minute warning. Great punt, but yikes. Yikes.
What's the best moment playing sports in your life?
Wow, that's a
Ooh.
tough question. I saw that one. That's rough. Good question, Roman.
Getting my first hat trick in hockey was fun. Because I mostly played defense, so I wasn't like,
Yeah, scoring opportunities were somewhat limited.
yeah. But I got like 3 one-timers in one game, just randomly, and that was great.
Hanging out by the blue line, waiting for a racket.
Yeah, that's all you need. That's all you need. But yeah, and then I never did that again for the rest of my life.
Never did that again. Oh man. I don't know. Played a lot of sports. There's a lot of good moments.
Our ground doesn't shake and our trees aren't on fire. Checkmate. But they are frozen. I mean, you do have to burrow through a foot of ice to go fishing, so there's that.
That's not fishing. That's drinking in a hut.
Which isn't bad. That's a great way to kill a
It's the
Saturday.
best excuse ever. Like, I have to leave the house and go sit in what is basically the original tiny house and drink a bunch of beer. Okay.
Yeah. You could do worse. You could do worse. And their food's pretty good too.
I have plenty of good stuff to eat.
They just
for sure.
find 100 different ways to use butter creatively, which I am all for it.
Don't forget statues at the state fair. Oh, deep ball.
Oh, they picked up the flag. Thank God. Okay, cool.
That's the offense, man. DPI. That's the offense. That was totally like, we're going to chuck up and go for DPI.
Are the Vikings a good bad team or a bad good team? I think we just had this discussion on the pod.
Somebody listens to the pod. That's fantastic.
The answer is yes.
Yeah. We had them as a good bad team.
Did they call DPI on that?
Yes. Yes. That was the whole thing. They knew Breland wouldn't. Oh, Claypool turned his head around for him. He literally grabbed his face mask and was like, look back towards the ball. You don't want to get a flag. Jeez. Oh, that's so cheap. Those are the times I wish it was 15 yards. There's a lot of times I'm like, no, spot.
You brought it in anyway, though. So, I mean, shit, that's still pretty crazy that he even made that catch in the first place.
I'm going to lean on Claypool in crunch time. Look at this. Flag. Oh, it's coming back.
Okay, so what I need is Najee and Freiermuth yards for the rest of this drive. Overtime. Steelers get the ball.
Overtime.
Field goal. Conklin long touchdown. That's what I need.
Okay. I'm rooting for you because I have no skin in this game.
Keep in mind, I put $100 on this slip. So if I win, I get $2,000.
Whoa. You didn't mention that part, Holmes.
Yeah, I got a little bit of skin in the game on this one.
I do not. But I'm all for you.
Yeah, how fucking stupid am I that I put $100 on Justin Jefferson not getting 8 catches?
Yeah, but it survived somehow. After how many targets? 18?
He had like 5 catches in the first quarter.
Yeah, and he's got like 18 total targets. You tell me he doesn't catch 8 of those? I'm telling you, you're out of your mind. But here's the Vikings letting him have a chance.
YOLO Swaggins, when I played baseball, I hit a walk-off double that went in between the legs of my best friend who was playing second base. Oh, that's brutal. I hope you roast him for the rest of your life for that.
Oh, he's still talking about it. That's good.
Every Thanksgiving.
I like that.
Every Thanksgiving.
I like that. That's good. Oh.
Oh, no. Did JJ just hit? I think it did. I need 0.5 more yards from Najee.
He just got 0.5 more yards.
Yeah, because I think Najee's
It was receiving, but
it was like
I don't know if that
101 total
matters.
or something like that.
I don't know if that matters, Canadian kid, but it was receiving, not rushing. But we'll see. Steelers football.
No, Jefferson's still at 7. We're still alive. As long as he doesn't get 8.
Oh man, whoever has Claypool is just whoever had Claypool on their ticket is like, I'm never getting it, and now they're like, I'm getting it. It's happening.
Because he only needed like 55. So before that catch, he didn't have it.
I'm telling you, Claypool. Anybody has Claypool on their ticket is like, I got it. 2 deep safety
in the flat.
Every
time you don't throw to Freiermuth, I'm just getting more and more.
They have not targeted him, but what, twice tonight? 3 times?
Caught both. He got a touchdown at least.
Yeah, he caught both and got a touchdown. It's kind of like the DK thing, right? Like DK, most effective, second most effective player when targeted in the NFL. How many targets is he getting? Oh, 1.5.
Well, he got 8 last week.
Another Claypool shot.
That was a face mask. No? Okay. Yeah, they targeted DK like 8 times last week, but it was also like the first time they targeted him 8 times in a while.
Well, throw the flag. Throw the flag on Claypool. He was offsides. They'll never do it, but he was offsides.
All right, they converted. They're still alive. 103.5. Okay, that's what it was. I thought it was 101.5.
It's okay. It's okay. I have Ohio State. Oh, wait. Yeah.
It's okay. You'll go to like some New Year's 6 bowl and just demolish insert Pac-12 team here.
Tulane.
Have they released who Ohio State's playing in the bowl yet? Probably not.
I don't think I've seen it. Oh, nasty little hit going out of bounds.
Because some matchups have been
released, yeah, I've seen some bigger games typically.
OSU plays Utah in the Rose Bowl. That's what it was.
Oh,
that's right. Because Michigan, because Michigan's going to the playoffs, so OSU replaces them.
That's a good game.
Yeah, I take back what I said about demolish. That might not be a demolish type game.
Utah's favorite thing is that
that might be a close
Giants' ankles off.
Yeah.
Oh man.
If it was like any other Pac-12 team, I'd be like, oh yeah, they're gonna kill him. But not Utah.
It's Utah. Oh no. Okay. Whew. Yeah, Breland, he went after you again. 300 yards rushing in a high school varsity game as a sophomore, then shattered my pelvis. Ouch! As a junior, along with a dislocated hip. Never played again. I don't doubt it. That is a nasty combination of injuries.
You are alternate universe Derrick Henry, is what I'm reading here. Because holy shit.
That is the bizarro Derrick Henry.
I'm sorry that you shattered your pelvis and dislocated your hip. That sounds awful. Was it while playing, or did you get hit by an actual train?
Or what did like a horse fall on you? Because that's a nasty combo.
Somebody drop a bank safe on you?
Uh-oh. Are you serious?
Please no. Please don't tell me they got it.
Dude, we're 2 seconds and they got a shot. The Vikings are playing soft. After what happened again against Detroit, they're playing soft. And they let him out of bounds. What are you? For everybody that says, anyways, I'm not even going to get into that. That's just going to put me in deep water. 7 seconds left. Come on, last shot, Ben. 3 on the clock. They get it off. Ben up top. Freiermuth dropped it. He got hit by 3 guys, to be fair, at the same time, but Freiermuth dropped it in the end zone.
I don't feel like either team's fan base feels like they won tonight.
I don't feel like any of us watching won. Do you?
I mean, we got some tremendous. Well, I don't know if I qualified it as a drop. He got hit.
He got hit by 3 guys at the same time. I'm not saying that was an easy catch, but come on, game on the line. Like, let's see the replay. Maybe I'll feel better about it. Good route.
I think it was Harry that knocked it out.
Oh no, you got to catch it. He got smashed, but you got to catch that. That ball was cleanly in his hands before he got hit. Oof. Rugged hit though.
He's screaming. Tremendous content. If nothing else, it's tremendous content.
Yeah. Brett got the under on the Jefferson catches. What the fuck?
What up now?
What up now with the rest of that ticket? Now
I missed everything else, but I got the under on Jefferson.
No, that being said, that is a stunning victory. Like, how many targets did he have? I think 18 is the number. I haven't looked, but I think it's
15 targets.
15 targets. He didn't even catch half. Yikes. That's a stunning victory. Oh, got hurdled by Kerryon Johnson, which was a strange experience. I'm glad he didn't knee you in the head because you wouldn't have one.
Trust me, you are not the only person that got hurdled by Kerryon Johnson in high school.
Probably not even on that play.
A lot.
Yeah, that guy was tremendous.
Took a massive hit by a safety while being grabbed from behind. Should have broken my upper leg. Instead, my hip went. Oh, that's just unfortunate. It's probably better to break your leg than dislocate your hip, right? Like recovery-wise?
Yeah, probably an easier recovery. I mean, you can ask Tua, but
yikes. I don't know. I mean, breaking your femur probably doesn't feel too good.
Oh, breaking your femur is a terribly nasty injury.
It's also very hard to do. That's just unfortunate. That sucks.
Not as hard as you'd think.
But I mean, God, dislocating your hip in high school, like that's
it's a bad injury, and then broken pelvis. Yikes! Like, ouch. Well, I think we had a lot of fun.
We did. We got to bullshit about ice fishing and earthquakes and watching somehow the only thing that mattered to me tonight, which was Justin Jefferson under.
The only thing you won. That's the only thing that mattered.
In true underdog fashion, I didn't get the full slip. But
well, you tried.
The journey continues next week, where I will once again try. Funny. And actually continues this Sunday. I'm going to have a slip on Sunday as well.
Well, there you go.
One of these I'm going to hit. And then that's going to pay for my driveway that EJ broke.
EJ is that dad who knows about injuries from personal experience. He's had plenty. We'll just go with yes, Reese. Yeah, I have a thick file. It's not all that nice.
I think breaking your femur can kill you if the bone shards get in your bloodstream.
Breaking your femur is a nasty injury. The chances of infection are really high. It's in a really large muscle group. It's by some very large blood vessels. So depending on how you do it, it's a very large bone. So it takes a lot of force to snap it. It's
if you break your femur, you probably did or got something so terrible happen to you that everything else is probably fucked up too.
I unfortunately have seen 3 break fairly up close. Like it's super bad. Like when somebody hits that hard, you're like, okay. And these are really tough guys, like really tough guys. And they scream like little kids. Like it is a terribly painful. No, it's a super painful injury. No, I'm not blaming them. I'm just saying you can like somebody hits that hard and they start screaming like that. You're like, yeah, they did something like break their pelvis or dislocate their hip or break their femur. Like they didn't. That's not like an ACL. Like that's
not a normal injury.
Yeah.
All right. Last super chat for the night. Schroeder, defensive mastermind, Zim, Lions, and now this. I'm telling you, I don't care what their record is at the end of the year. This is probably Zim's last year. It just feels like it. It just feels like it.
Honestly, I think this was his last year anyways. Like this was the win or leave year. And so even if they went like 8 or 8 or what, sorry, it's 8 and 9 now. Even if they went close to 500, like I don't think he was coming back, because this was hey, we loaded up. You've got everything you need, like short of a, catastrophic Kirk Cousins injury in like game 1 or something, some totally mitigating circumstance. I honestly think if they didn't go to the playoffs and win a game this year, this is probably Zim's last ride. And the fact that they've had less good showings than that, yeah, I think that's it.
It's over. It's over. Just like with Pete. It's like, doesn't matter what happens the last half of the season.
I just don't know how you can run it back for the fan base, right? And say, oh yeah, well, we're just gonna do it again. Like, did you not see
they
what
would
he
riot
did last year? Like,
they would riot.
Yeah. So
thank you to Hen Dog for the $2. 225 pounds as a junior. Is a big kid, by the way. Not gonna lie. Thank you to everybody who donated tonight and hanging out with us and watching the most Vikings game you can possibly fucking imagine.
True.
A lot of fun. We'll be back next week. I got a film room coming out on Tuesday. At least I think Tuesday. He said. We have another Bootleg Football podcast coming out next Wednesday. Go check out the Bootleg Football podcast channel for this week's episode and soon to be next week's episode. I think 2 film rooms coming out next week, so lots more to come. Thank you for hanging out and watching with us, and we'll see you soon.